Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now on a Monday and a new month, which means later on we'll get to hear the most famous words in the show when we get to Trash Brownie will be, oh, I love these, right?
I don't know, Jim.
Coming up a little bit later on. Also,
I'm glad you've let that go.
Also, we'll get to a lot of college football, but the changing landscape of college athletics is where we start. I didn't watch a second of it last night on the SEC Network, but I've seen video all over my social media feed. Here comes Texas and Oklahoma officially now. The Texas celebration last night in Austin, the one in Norman goes on today all over the SEC Network. And LT and Brownie, they come in as cocky as we expect Texas to come in. The words that they are saying are everywhere. Let me just read. We've got the audio from Quinn Ewers, so we'll get to that in just a second. Beautiful scene. I can't believe how many people showed up.
I really can't either.
Yeah, I didn't know this was going on until I sat down at the bar last night at Walk-Ons, and it was on one of their mini TVs, and every SEC Now personality was there. There were thousands. Me and Taylor were talking about this earlier in the sales office. Thousands and thousands of people there. Yep. And I don't know if you got Feinbaum's comment at the end.
Yeah, he's backtracked from that.
Yeah, he dialed that one right back.
I think we were talking about the same one. But here's Chris Del Conte from Chris Lowe's story at ESPN.com out there this morning. Quote, whoever you play, it's going to be their Super Bowl. That won't change in the SEC. Texas AD Chris Del Conte's message to all of the Texas athletes. It will be a big game when you play Texas.
Well, yeah.
Of course it will, yeah.
Sure, but I mean, they're not going to come in. I'll tell you, for SEC fans, how bad would it be if Texas came in, won the SEC, and won a national championship in year one? Like, I want to see Texas fail miserably in year one. Just to give them a little humble pie.
What would be failed miserably to you? Like 8-4?
9-3, not making a playoff.
9-3, okay.
And so I was talking to one of our former interns last week. He was actually on Chip Brown's show.
Okay.
And he brought up that now I just lost my train of thought. I was digging so hard to remember his name.
Former intern, Chip Brown.
Oh, he was talking about, because I was like, the best scenario will be November 30th when these teams play, if A&M is hosting Texas with the chance to knock them out of the college football playoff. And he's like, I really believe it could be, like A&M could be good enough with 2 or 3 losses. They could both go into that game at 9-2.
Yeah, you've said before that you can envision a scenario where Texas comes in at 9-2, a win may not send them to Atlanta, but locks them in, and then they lose to A&M.
Yep.
I mean, that would be...
just with the chance, forget what A&M is, just a chance to keep Texas out of the playoffs.
I know.
It's going to be insanity anyway, that game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just the rivalry and the hate and everything. Yep. It may be the most hateful college football game in my professional career. Alabama going back... Auburn.
I think this is going to be it.
2010 Iron Bowl was about as the peak of that.
It was nasty.
2010 Iron Bowl.
It will not be this nasty.
Alabama's first trip down there.
89
was intense.
I mean, but this has got these
Saban back to Baton Rouge. They were burning people in effigy.
That's right. It very quickly became a burning cross in a field. Everybody's like, ooh,
knock that down.
With the Saban part burned off, which was like 0.3 seconds. Yeah. And then you were left with a burning cross. Everybody was like, we did not think through this one, guys. We did not think through this. But I mean, first of all, this rivalry hasn't been played in a very long time in football. What was the last year?
I think it was 2012.
Yeah,
right?
it was 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
maybe 2011.
2011.
Yeah, it has not been played in a very long time.
And last time they played, it was when the Mets started paying Bobby Bonilla on July 1st.
Yes,
Seriously.
More of that later. And then you got the whole baseball thing. Like, I don't know. I mean, do you think that carries over for the fan bases into the football thing?
Oh, sure.
I don't think it's as much the baseball hire. It's just the attitude.
No, but it is a little bit of everything that's going on. And especially, Texas A&M has settled in now for 12 years into this league. And now here comes Texas, and they're, I don't remember Texas A&M having. We didn't throw this party at Texas A&M and at Missouri.
We didn't have an SEC network. Then, to be fair,
but
I will tell you, kind of, and Taylor brought this up, kind of reminded me of when we were in Auburn. Like, they threw everything at him. I saw a track coach on there. I saw a volleyball coach.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they did.
Well, I'm glad it happens to the best of them, Lance.
It does. I'll tell you, A&M came in that first year and beat Alabama with Johnny Manziel.
It's the best year they've had.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all been all downhill from there.
And Texas comes in really, really good. We'll talk about what Quinn Ewers said over the weekend. He was at the Manning Passing Academy that they have every year down in Louisiana this time of year. After LT tells us about our friends at Michelson, we'll look into Texas and Oklahoma several times coming into the league today and a lot more. Tell us about the great folks at Michelson.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made over 20 years ago. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. I wore the contacts for about a decade. I was wasting money each and every year on that. Went to see Dr. Mark Michelson, got the procedure done. Now I have 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. Ask about that pre-inflation pricing. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Before you play it, Rockstar, Forrester, can you just pop it up? I mean, this guy's transformation from when he was at Ohio State to when he first came back to Texas, and his hair and his physical body has changed tremendously. If I'd have just popped that up there, would you guys guess Quinn Ewers right off the bat?
With the Manning Passing Academy stuff behind it, maybe.
Well, and his photo behind
and
him.
his photo that says Quinn Ewers at the top.
Well, boy, y'all's eyesight are better than me. I didn't even notice the photo up there.
But boy, outside of that, maybe not. No.
Yeah.
Like if
he
this
does
were
look
just
a lot different.
Yeah. If this were just in a field or if it were on a golf course or something, I wouldn't necessarily guess Quinn Ewers.
Looks like a grown ass man now.
He does.
Right?
He does.
So he gets asked by CJ Vogel on TexasFootball.com about Texas being everybody's big game this year in the SEC, just to continuing what his AD was talking about. Here is Quinn back on Friday at the Manning Passing Academy.
You're going to be everybody's big game. Just because you're Texas. You proved it. Tell me about that. Y'all are used to that in the Big 12, but this is a different level, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a different level. I've always wanted to play in the SEC, so I know we're all excited to be a part of a conference like that. Like you said, we're everybody's biggest game, and we do understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, now the reporter put those words in his mouth. I had not heard that part. I had only seen the quote from Quinn Ewers.
Me too. I've only seen the headline and the quote where we're going to be everybody's big game, and then everybody reacted to it.
How are you supposed to answer that?
Yeah, I didn't know the reporter said, hey, y'all are going to be everybody's biggest game. I mean, the reporter, that's the setup of the question.
And he was very nice. He was saying, I've always wanted to be in the SEC. So,
I know. That's one of those, when I hear it, it's way different than the way it read.
Always dig into the stories.
Yeah.
So here we go. How many people in the league now, fan bases, think they're everybody's big game? Because I know Alabama does.
I think Alabama, Georgia, and Texas are probably the three right now. At least those are the ones that I would view from the outside. I mean, LSU's still a brand, but I don't.
LSU and Oklahoma they got
get your attention when they get.
But I do think those are the three right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, Alabama for years, basically Texas is coming in singing from the Alabama hymnal to the league.
Look, I know
we're everybody's big game.
We'll get to a team today that had a really good season last year, but Georgia is still the it right now. They are the top brand in college football.
Them and Ohio State, their rosters, I think, are a little apart from everybody else's.
What is? Let me ask you this way: what is Texas' biggest road game?
Their biggest
A&M?
road game,
aside from
at
A&M.
Michigan.
Yeah.
All right, SEC. I meant.
Maybe Arkansas. I mean, they've got a joke of a schedule.
Yeah, they really do.
When we talk about Oklahoma's schedule compared to Texas, Texas is schedule light, SEC light.
Yeah, I think they've only got 4 games they could lose on their schedule.
Here's their schedule here.
It's going to be hard for me to ask this question now that I've looked through schedule. But I was going to ask, what is the bigger deal? What is going to be the bigger deal? Georgia coming to Texas for the first time, or Texas going to one of these SEC schools for the first time? And I think that answers your question. Now, the problem with that is Texas going to Texas A&M is going to be a bigger deal than Georgia coming to Texas just because of the nature of that whole deal. Yeah. Texas and Arkansas is an old school rivalry. Last time Texas went up there, they got their horns cut off.
But every time Texas and Oklahoma comes for the first time to an SEC campus, it's going to be a big deal. It's a big deal when Texas A&M came to Tuscaloosa.
But my point is it a bigger deal with Georgia going to Texas? I think that'll be a bigger deal.
Well, let me ask you this: if you're a Texas fan, the one game that scares you the most,
Georgia.
Yeah.
And I think that's my point is I think Georgia's still got that swagger. And if when Alabama went there a couple of years ago, it was the same way. Were you at that game? Did you go?
I did not go to that one. Because remember,
And by the way, for Georgia, I don't think that's their scariest game.
At Alabama scarier, you think? Yeah.
I think so. Just because Alabama's had their number.
Well, they have, yeah.
Yeah. They have one win and
one in
Kirby
5
has
under
one
Kirby,
win.
right?
Yeah,
It's
Kirby's got
pretty
one win,
amazing
yeah.
that Kirby 1-5 been able to navigate 2 national championships.
I mean, that is pretty incredible,
Yeah.
isn't it?
All right, over in the chat room, we'll get to some other stuff going on in the world, and we'll circle back to Texas and Oklahoma several times throughout the show. But our Inverness Country Club look into the chat room over here, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, two NASCAR-like sponsors right there in one say. Somebody, it's already flown by, so many comments coming in, but there was somebody said they got a shout out for their next round hat down at Disney. We love that. Send pictures when you guys travel. We appreciate that. We got new ones coming up, including our buddy Patrick and Marianne took their son to his first ever adult concert, Zach Bryan, up in Nashville at Nissan Stadium. Did you happen to see, continuing the 15 Minutes of Fame, who Zach Bryan brought on stage at the end at Nissan Stadium?
I did. That thing was everywhere, and I hope she hawk tui's better than she sings.
I don't even think she knew the words.
She mouthed a couple of them.
I mean, she could have been inebriated.
I
have no
believe
idea.
they were able to pick her out of the crowd.
Oh, she was invited. She was invited guest.
She said,
but
I
I-
hope she hawk tui's
Yeah.
better than she sings.
Dude, I mean, her vocals are awful. But I guess he does this every show. He brings different people up to sing that revival song, because I was reading an article on Jim Harbaugh this morning, and there was Justin Herbert talking about how much Harbaugh's already been, impacting this organization. And I saw a video of Justin Herbert and a couple of Chargers up on stage with Zach Bryan, too.
They've done it. I mean, Bruce Springsteen has been up there. John Mayer has been up there. But, yeah, he brings up people from every and it's a long song at the end. But I thought it was pretty crazy when she goes up and she does it on the mic. But, hey, 15 Minutes of Fame, can she cash in on this, or who's making the money off of
supposedly
this?
she's selling shirts.
merch. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know
merch.
what's urban legend, because, we heard she was a teacher, she got fired. That's been kind of debunked.
Yeah.
We heard her dad's a pastor.
She's listed as a bartender in her social media.
Yeah, I think the whole mom or dad's a pastor has been debunked too, if I'm not
That's what I'm
mistaken.
saying. And I also wonder if she's really sold $2 million in merch. She doesn't seem to be the sharpest tool.
Outside of one singular interview, I haven't heard much from her. So I mean, that might not have been the best place to judge her on her intelligence, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people lose brain cells on Broadway, don't they? On Lower Broadway.
yeah.
Laura says Bree Chicken Fry said that she was the first interview of the Hawk Tour. She's on the record as first interview.
Okay.
Haley or whatever.
It's not exactly like being the first one to interview a president.
It's not going to win her a Peabody.
Don't know how many questions you can ask this girl.
So,
So what's next? Tell us about our friends at Inverness Country Club. Hopefully Brown and I are about to get out and play that track again in a couple of days. But the reason I bring up this all the time, a lot of people think of country clubs as some stuffy. That's the first thing a lot of people say with country clubs. That's not the case at Inverness. This is a young group of people that make up the membership at Inverness Country Club.
Yeah, look, they've got whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. Find your sense of community at Inverness Country Club. They've got the social membership, including that resort-style pool, golf, beautiful course, expanding that driving range, childcare. Big plus, you and your wife on a day of golf or tennis, guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself on the court or course all day with the wife or husband, dinner with friends, knowing your kid is safe on site. Massive plus. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. They even have a vineyard club. Best days happen at Inverness. Take a tour of this unbelievable club today. Call Aaron, 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608. Tell Aaron the next round sent you. For more information, you can always go online, iccalabama.com.
More on the Manning Passing Academy coming up a little bit later on. Who impressed on the Friday Night Lights competition and who didn't throw? All that coming up. We're gonna challenge LT here to one of his long-held beliefs that when somebody gets engaged or married, their production goes down. Over the weekend, one of the most dynamic non-quarterback offense. Anyway, he's the most dynamic non-quarterback offensive players in the National Football League got married. Christian McCaffrey gets married to Olivia Culpo. Is that how you say her last name? Olivia Culpo. Here's them getting off their private jet, the old PJ, or getting onto it. And they get married over the weekend.
Yeah, good for him.
Does marriage impact the great Christian McCaffrey?
Look, time's going to impact him sooner or later. He's still relatively young, but boy, he's got a lot of tread on those tires, or a lot of worn tread, I should say. He is, I would agree with Tyreek Hill, probably the most electrifying non-quarterbacks in the league. But he's been dating this girl for a couple of years.
No, so really probably not much different.
Yeah, so I don't think this is one of those they rushed into, and then they're going to find out, man, I don't like how you hang your toothbrush, or you're clipping your nails in bed.
Yeah, so he's technically been off the market for a long time.
Yeah. I forgot how he met this girl, but I saw something on him a year or 2 years ago.
So she was Miss Rhode Island, USA, as I have learned.
She does not look like she's from Rhode Island.
She doesn't. I would imagine if you're trying to make it to Miss America, doesn't it feel like Rhode Island? That's like a one-bid league, and you try to go there and win Miss Rhode Island.
Well, I mean, it's
if you told me
small
she
state.
was Miss Costa Rica,
you would believe
I would
that.
believe it more. Yeah.
But if you're like, okay, I got to win somewhere in 50 states. Rhode Island, Alaska, probably are my best two bets.
How about she's a elite level cellist? She's played in several orchestras as a cellist.
I'm going to assume that was her talent when she
Probably
was Miss
so.
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Probably so. That probably sets you apart if you play the cello at Rhode Island there.
I like strings a lot more than brass.
So really,
I think I do too. Yeah.
Really, your theory was always playing the field, really out there dating. When they stopped doing that to settle down, almost the Tiger Woods effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a wedding picture. She looked good on her wedding day.
She did.
I wonder if she played the cello for him. Like, you know how sometimes the groom sings the bride a song?
Yeah. Is that an innuendo or?
I'm relatively certain that's happened, but I wonder if like she had a little a little sad music.
Haunted house.
It's haunting, wasn't
It's
it?
haunted house. My God.
Yeah, well, it could be a sad wedding, Rockstar.
So there's a big move there in the National Football League for one of their most dynamic players.
I don't know. Somebody's asked me, what is somebody from Rhode Island look
I kind of wondered that. You said she doesn't look like she's from Rhode Island.
I don't know what they look like. I wouldn't think that.
Not Olivia Culpo.
Yeah.
Well, we have this image of.
Well, I mean, I've been to Providence. And
What'd you think? I've never been.
It's a shithole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worse than Jacksonville, Florida. Where is it in comparison to Jacksonville, Florida?
Oh, it's just Jacksonville with less sun. Not that Jacksonville has a lot of sun for Florida. I think that's the least sunny spot in Florida is Jacksonville.
It's the northeast Jacksonville, Florida. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
So Providence, no-go.
Providence is a no-go.
No-go for Providence.
Oh, that is a beautiful dress. Looks like they got married at the Louvre.
I don't think budget was an issue with these two.
How about this? Tell me what you think this would cost. When we were in San Antonio, Texas, a couple of weeks ago, we were staying on the Riverwalk, and it's very walkable to the Alamo, right? I'll go ahead and say it for you. Much smaller than you imagine. Have you ever seen the Alamo?
I have not seen it in person, but I've been told it's even small.
What square footage? Is it like a little cabin?
Yeah, I mean, it is much. It's no wonder we had a tough time defending it. Very small.
Yeah, but I mean, fewer people to defend it, right?
Well, yeah. But unfortunately, Santa Ana was like, I think we can overthrow that thing. It's tiny. It's a little cabin in the woods. But the night we walked up on the Alamo, we weren't going to take the tour or anything. There was just really no interest to do the tour, but we walked up to see it. Wedding reception inside the Alamo. It was closed for a private event.
Wonder what that cost.
That's what I ask you. I mean, that's got to be pretty steep, right?
I would think so, yeah.
A wedding reception in the Alamo? Or it might have been I think it was a rehearsal dinner. It may not have been the reception.
I was at
I think it was a rehearsal dinner.
They brought out the folding tables.
wedding reception Saturday night at Vestavia Country Club is where I was.
Nice place, unlike the Alamo, though.
Yeah. Bigger than the Alamo.
Much bigger than the Alamo, yes.
Hey, by the way, weddings, what's the most groomsmen, bridesmaids you've ever seen that you've been to in person?
I think 12 and 12.
I was going to say 12. I wouldn't die on that hill.
And that's massive.
That is a lot. It takes a while to walk in.
Tell me, does the best man count as a groomsman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because the maid of honor counts as a bridesmaid.
Okay, so 13.
Yep.
This was 13.
13 on each side?
Yeah. Yep.
26, huh?
I actually think it was 13 and 11, but unless I was missing someone.
I'm hoping it was not a Catholic wedding.
It was not. It was not.
So
right there at the great church on the hill, Highlands.
Dudes had less?
13 dudes.
11, so the girls had less. That's pretty uncommon,
right.
I think.
If I counted right. It was my buddy Michael Hires, who quarterbacked at Samford. He got married to I can't remember Miss Donahue's first name now, but they got married.
So Hires had 13 groomsmen?
Yeah. A lot of Sanford and Briarwood football
but
players.
guys can get away
Yeah.
with making somebody an usher, so they're technically
right,
in the
yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
No, they were up on the. They walked down, but as they walked out, they seemed to pair up pretty good. But it was a fast wedding. It was a really pretty wedding and reception, and it's nice to see little Michael. That was the couple, by the way, that knew Maggie and I were pregnant with our first baby Harper before I did.
Maggie told somebody before she told you?
Yeah. I get home from the 10 o'clock news.
He got a daddy named Jim, too.
Is he smart?
Got a daddy named Jim, too. It's a great line right there.
We were...
Say it like Forrest does.
I just did.
Do it again. I like it.
He got a daddy named Jim, too.
So I come home from
that is such a Maggie move.
I come home from the late local.
Speaking of breaking news.
And she tells me that we're pregnant with little Harper. And I was like, oh, I mean, they were really close to us at that moment.
They'd already had the gender reveal without you.
I was like, oh, we got to call Brad and Natalie. And she's like, it's 11 at night. I've already told them. I told them about 7 tonight. And I was like, fantastic. So I've always held that over her head.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Brought it up again the other night.
Stunning.
All right. We're off and rolling here. A lot to get to, including Joel Klatt will be with us at 11 o'clock. It will be Joel's, I think, one of his more dynamic appearances on the show because he is on his tour this summer of talking to college coaches. And I love getting intel from Joel this time of year when he's going face-to-face with all these coaches, including Sark and others that he's gone on and had a conversation with this offseason. So we'll talk to Joel Klatt with us starting in the final hour, 11 Central. Klatt will be with us today on the show that's being brought to you by our friends at Odie's. After another great weekend at Odie's with live music, we'll be back there for trivia coming up on Wednesday night.
Yeah, Wednesday night, every Wednesday at Crestline location, the original location. We have the Odie's Team Trivia, of course, the newest location in Edgewood. You can stop by either, get incredible food from Rodney Davis. He's been cooking it up for more than 33 years. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, including that Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. Stop into both locations, Crestline and now Edgewood. It's Odie's Tavern.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Our friends at Longest Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longest offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longest offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longest sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longest has to offer you.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, by the way, Texas A&M did hire their baseball coach. They just promoted the batting coach, the hitting coach, Michael Early, who's 36. And it brings up an interesting question that DK, Danny, and Dusty were talking about earlier this morning. He was an assistant, so they just promoted from within. He's 36. It'll be his first head coaching job. By the way, Michael Early, if you were people that go to Barons games all the time, he was in the White Sox organization, played here in Birmingham in 2014. Never made it past AAA, played 6 years before he started his coaching. But I wonder if we'll get to this, guys, where when given the opportunity, obviously if you've got a legend, you got to pay to keep a coach. But when given the opportunity, do you hire somebody like a Michael Early, first head coaching job, and spend the money you're not spending on the head coach to pay for the NIL? To pay for the players? And this is what they were discussing this morning because, you know, what makes a good coach? Sometimes great players, right? If you can be a lesser coach and have great players and win a lot of games. I think coaching matters more in college sometimes than it does in the pro because of recruiting. But could you see somewhere down the road you're going to save $1 on a coach to put towards the roster? Is that something we would get into in the future, you think?
I don't know about that. I think, players are obviously the most important, but you got to have if you've got an elite coach, it's just different level.
Right. You got to pay Kirby, you got to pay the Sabans
and I think, guys like Early getting a chance, getting that opportunity, I think they've got to have command of the clubhouse, a respect of all of those players, and probably even Schlossnagle, had spoken, out loud how much potential he had as a potential manager. And I like seeing guys like this get an opportunity. Whether or not it works out, well, time will tell.
Well, this is not the exact scenario you're talking about, but I'll use this as an example, okay? And I know this didn't happen this way. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just using this as an example because everybody knows the names.
Great disclaimer.
All right. So if you were Oklahoma and Bob Stoops was offered another job and you had Lincoln Riley on your staff, and Lincoln will take the job cheaper than what I'm about to have to pay Stoops because he's going to leverage this other job against me. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I really think this guy is an up-and-coming coach. And I'm about to now save $3-4 million, and I can convince him, listen, you're not as experienced as Coach Stoops. We'll get you to where he's being paid. But if you'll take $3-4 million, we can take that other $4 million we're going to have to pay him, and we can use it for NIL.
Now, could this become
you can see that, right?
NFL rookie quarterback deals? Like we see organizations really, really take advantage of not paying a quarterback in his first 4 years. It's on a 5-year contract, and they're able to spread that money elsewhere, and you see teams win championships with that formula. Maybe this does work a little bit in favor of NIL.
Yeah. It's an interesting dynamic because we always say this, and yet we haven't hit that ceiling yet. But there's only so much money, right?
Well, yeah.
I don't know if we've hit that ceiling yet. Yeah. Just see the celebrations going on in Austin and Norman the last 2 days. But there's only so much money, and I wonder if you start manipulating coaching salaries as opposed to NIL rosters, the money you're paying there. It was an interesting debate with Cannell and Dusty this morning on Sirius XM.
It's essentially what Major League Baseball has done. Major League Baseball has said paying the talent is far more important than paying the manager.
Yes.
Like managers in Major League Baseball don't get paid a ton in comparison.
I do think a Major League manager is more important than an NBA head coach.
That's right.
I think I would agree with you on that.
Just you've got to be able to have this balance of keeping guys loose, and at the same time, you got to have some discipline.
But the NBA's kind of done the same thing, haven't they? I mean, they've said
they
we're
pay
going to
players way
more. I mean, Tyrese Maxey and Paul George just got basically $500 million from the Sixers over the next 4.5, 5 years.
But I wonder how long it will take this.
Not 10 years.
Yeah,
4.5 and 5 years.
And that's 40% of your starting lineup.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it'll take this to flip, though, because the business model in college football was invest as much as you can into the head coach.
Yep.
And now that you're going to have to start investing in players, how long does it take that model to flip? I
don't know.
Where the head coaches now are back to making $2, $3, $4 million a year and not 10, 12, 14 million a year.
Well, I know we're going to get to Bobby Bonilla at some point, but you wonder if some of these coaches that are younger would take deferred payments from universities.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I thought of that.
Because, most people just think it's Bobby Bonilla, but there's so many other guys like Ken Griffey Jr. is still getting paid from the Reds.
Yeah, Max Scherzer got $15 million from the Nationals today. And pitched
Manny
for the
Ramirez is still getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's,
Do you have that whole list?
Yeah.
Okay, pull that list up. Give me A+, and then give me that list here. We'll get to our 40 and 40 team coming up a little bit later on in this segment or the next at some point. But A+ will change the way your house looks.
A+ Tile Home Remodeling is who we're talking about here. It's our guy, Brad Bell. He's done work for this staff here. He did the master bathroom in the Brown house. He did the master bath and the kitchen in the Taylor house. And that's what he specializes in, master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Now, let me tell you why that's important. You use those rooms a lot. You use a kitchen a lot. You're in your master bathroom a lot. That master bedroom closet can get cluttered if it's not big enough and organized properly. And on top of that, those things pop when it comes time to sell your house. That's what people are looking at. Scott showed you before and afters of my bathroom and now Lance's bathroom. Brad can do that for you. My wife scoured the internet when it came time to hire someone. She picked Brad. And I'm glad she did. His crews did amazing work. They were on time. They were efficient. They were courteous. They were clean. Just everything you want. 205-422-1758. 205-422-1758. That is Brad's number. Anywhere in Alabama, he can help you. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
Okay, give me that list because I did not know Ken Griffey was still getting paid.
Yeah,
crazy.
So Shohei Ohtani's deal was much maligned in the offseason, and people talked about the deferred payment. And, I didn't remember it laying out like this. So he's going to get $20 million of the $700 million up front over the next couple of years. He'll start receiving $68 million a year in 2034.
$68 million. Bonilla gets $1 million a year, and we call that
crazy.
He's
getting $68 million between 34 and 44
for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, now
that is $68 million a year for those 10 years.
Yeah, and he'll be retired, and that'll just be his mailbox money.
Doubt.
Okay, you guys are so much better with money than me. Why you seem to be trumpeting this, but why would I? Because you always tell me if I win the lottery, I take the
your age.
lump sum.
If you're in your 20s or 30s, and hey, I'm going to play 10 more years, I'm going to retire at 35, and then I'm going to start getting $68 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, I can make it on $20 million for the next few years.
And I need to. I think one of the big things would be the tax deferments on this.
There's Forster's got a.
Oh, here's the graphic.
Pulled up. Now, I have some of these names, and I've got other names.
Okay, Kevin Garnett is getting deferred payments, $5 million this year, still from the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I don't know if you guys remember how the Bobby Bonilla deal went down, and it seems so stupid because they only owed him $5.9 million. And instead of in 2000 just giving him that 5.9, they decided that they were going to give him $1.2 million for 25 years, starting in July of 2011.
Why would you do that?
Yeah,
that's like renting to own.
And running all the way through 2035. And the reason they did this, Mets ownership was invested in Bernie Madoff.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they were promised double-digit returns. Guess what? That didn't work out. And so this is the deal they're stuck with right now. But, I mean, that's crazy that he's going to end up getting 5 times the money he was going to get.
Yeah, I forgot about the fact that the Mets got tied up in that Bernie Madoff deal. Yeah.
Show me the list again. So Ken Griffey Jr., you say LT, from the Reds, is still on there.
So Bonilla last played for the Mets in 99. He'll be paid through 2035 when he'll be 72 years old.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah, I never knew Ken Griffey Jr. had this deal, honestly. You always hear about Bonilla. Scherzer's not crazy because at least Scherzer's still playing.
Guess who else is still getting paid?
Who?
Brett Saberhagen. When's the last time you heard that name?
Wow.
The Kansas City Royal Brett Saberhagen or his kid?
That pitched in the 85 World Series.
Yeah, for me, I was going to say 87, 88. Kansas City Royals,
This
last
is
I remember him.
good mailbox money. He gets $250,000 a year from the Mets. Boy, the Mets are...
I mean, who are they not paying?
For 25 years. It began in 2004, so he's still getting $250,000 for the next 4 years, or next 5 years.
So when did Bonilla play? I mean, so if you were...
Last time he played for the Mets was 99.
Yeah, so you got a 24, 25-year-old person in accounting walking in and like, hey, who is Bobby Bonilla? They're going to mispronounce it.
Yeah.
And Brett Sabenhagen.
Can't even say that name.
I don't even know who these guys are.
So
why are we writing checks to these people?
I had just finished my first year at Jocks when he was playing for the Mets. Manny Ramirez, $24.2 million from the Red Sox through 2026. Griffey Jr., $3.59 million from the Reds every year through 2024. Chris Davis.
So this was his last check.
Yeah, big home run hitter for the Orioles. It couldn't hit his weight at the end of his career. He collects $59 million in deferred payments during a 15-year stretch that started last year, goes through 2037. So he will receive $9.1 million this year and next year, and then $3.5 from 26 to 32, and then $1.4 million from 33 to 37.
Wow, that's a lot of.
I mean, it's like
crazy.
It's like firing a college football coach.
Yeah.
I mean, you pay those guys forever sometimes.
The guys in the mybookie.ag chat room are talking about Auburn's payments. Am I right about this? They're only paying Harsin now. I think everyone else is.
Is Gus off the books?
I think so, right?
I don't know if he took the one time or if they're paying him out over several years. I mean, Gus
Wayne
is
Hall off the books?
Yeah, I mean, that was the one you go back to, right?
I mean, Gus has only been gone now, 4 years? Is the fourth year he won't be there?
Here's interesting, and legally, I guess it's got to be in the contract, but if you pass away on these deferred payments, let's say that Ohtani gets hit by a bus in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's got to go to some.
You think it goes to his estate?
You assign it in the will, yeah, I would imagine. It goes to your estate.
I would try to negotiate the other way. Hey, if you gone, it gone.
I think his agent's going to say, okay, well, guess where we'll be? We'll be gone and going into the Angels now.
Yeah, we'll need to go ahead and get that lump sum then. Thank you
we
very
ain't
much.
going to be playing for your Dodgers.
All right, let's do our 40 and 40 countdown today. It's brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. We're churning along. We're up to number 8 today, Brownie. Tell us about MyBookie.
Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Code next round. Code next round is the promo code you use when you sign on. Get a great sign-on bonus at mybookie.ag. They also have a revamped loyalty program, VIP program, all right there at mybookie.ag. We're about to talk about a team. Lance, I'm going to say, is going to tell you this team will be favored to win 9 games. All right, that's my prediction.
Okay.
9 games. You'll be able to play all those games at mybookie.ag, code next round.
Okay, don't pop it up yet, Forrester, because this is new in the countdown. This is the first team that got a first-place vote at number 8.
Oh, look out.
Now, we will not get to another team with a first-place vote until we get to number 3. So this is what – it's only one. This is what you would call an outlier, and it actually comes from a guy we're familiar with. If you watch the Meltdown, he showed up on a couple of trivia. He's been in studio with us. Brian Pavlik from Precision Sports is the one voter who voted this team number 1 in the country. Unveil it, Forrester. It is the Michigan Wolverines at number 8. Does he have a tie to Michigan?
Love me some Pavlik. I don't think he does. He texted me this morning. He was the first that gave me the heads up on Bobby Bonilla. This would be incredible, though. From 15-0, they've won 3 straight Big Ten championships. If they do win a national championship, I don't know if Ryan Day survives. I don't know what the path would be. They would have to probably beat Ohio State at least 1 point.
Yeah, maybe twice.
Once,
yeah, maybe twice. And so don't think that would be good for Ohio State or Ryan Day. I don't know how good Michigan's going to be, man. You got a new head coach, you got new coordinators on both sides.
I think a great defense again.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that. But J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, major weapons offensively, those go away. You lost 13 players to the NFL.
And there's Sherrone Moore because he was great in the interim. And he won a big game. He beat Ohio State, so it's not like he only beat the directional schools as an interim head coach.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed. My fear for Moore would be you lose Jesse Minter, who goes as your defense coordinator with Harbaugh to the Chargers. really, really good defensive coordinator. Wink Martindale's going to take over the defense, though. This is a guy that knows defenses.
Well, he's been all over the NFL.
I think the defense can be really good, but when you lose that much, are they going to be able to plug it in? And then Sharon Moore's taken over an organization that just won 15 games, won a national championship, and now you look at this schedule. Like, I think they'll be favored 9 or 10 games because of the brand and because of the season they're coming off. But there are landmines all over the place. Like, if they went 8-4, it wouldn't blow me away.
Before the bye, the first half of the schedule features some interesting games and a good trap game for them.
I want to ask you, when you use that phrasing, Brownie, sorry, you can get back to the schedule, because you said because of the brand, they'll be favored in 9 or 10 games. So you're saying Michigan's brand, maybe not their talent, makes them the favorite. That really, if you're people like you at lanceslog.com, you'd be looking at it and say, actually, they're not the better team here. Some value.
Yeah, like
on the
I
other
even
side.
think Michigan might be favored against Texas.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was the first one I was going to ask you about, the big noon kick.
That was
week
one
2.
of those, so I said 9 or 10.
Yeah.
If they're favored in that game, they'll be favored in 10. If they're not, that's the one I was talking about. But I think that game's going to be right around a pick. It's so early in the season, you really don't know what you're getting with either team. You think Texas is going to be really good, and you think, Michigan's got a little transition here, but I think that game will be around the pick.
USC in month number 1. Now, they do come to Michigan for a 2:30 CBS kick. I mentioned a trap game. I think Minnesota's a little bit of a trap game for them in the first half of the schedule. You got USC coming to Michigan, and you've got a road trip at Washington with Minnesota, a home game squeezed in. Sleepy little home game there against Minnesota. It's a little bit of a trap game.
Well, it could be. I don't know because it's in the big house. I lean that Michigan probably finds a way to win that game. But I do think Texas, USC, at Washington, Oregon, and Ohio State. Those are 5 really difficult games.
Absolutely.
And if you went 3-2 in those games, I think, like if I'm a Michigan fan and I go 10-2 in the regular season with that schedule with a first-year head coach, I think I could digest that.
Well, 10-2 is going to get you in the playoffs in the Big Ten.
It will get you absolutely in the playoffs. And may get you to Indianapolis, just depending on how the tie breaks work out.
Yeah, you may not want to go to Indianapolis.
You may not want to. We talked about that the other day. Yep.
So Michigan's sliding in there in our 40 and 40 today at number 8. We will do 7 tomorrow, 6 on Wednesday. Remember, Thursday and Friday we're off, and then we'll do the top 5 next week in our final week before SEC Media Days. It's all brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. Oh, one more note there. You see, the Wolverines do not play a road game until October. So a comfortable open, some tough games, but a comfortable opening there at the big house. MyBookie.ag makes it comfortable to play the games.
Yeah, code next round at MyBookie.ag. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Lance gave you those games he thinks Texas or Michigan might be favored in, including Texas. And when that game rolls around, it's right there. MyBookie.ag, code next round to sign on and get that great sign-on bonus with MyBookie.ag when you use code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
All right, so we'll do more of the Manning passing camp coming up and talk more college football. And we'll learn more about Texas and Oklahoma coming into the league. But officially, today is day 1 of Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC. It's officially day 1 of Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA in the Big Ten. It's officially the Big 12, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State. Officially Cal, Stanford, and SMU in the ACC.
That makes sense.
That's the one that you'll always have to scratch your head on.
As they now say, the All-Coast Conference. All Coast are involved.
Officially the first day of Kennesaw State in the Conference USA.
That still seems a little strange.
Forrester, how quickly can you Google and find me just a picture, big wide picture of Kennesaw State's football stadium? Did he say wow?
Yep, sure did.
I did not come prepared for that one, Jeff.
Yeah, just real quickly.
It is a wow.
Wow. I mean, I'm going to give you time here, but Kennesaw State, surprisingly.
Do you know their mascot?
The Owls. They're the Owls.
Yeah, I remember Antoine Penley was on with us.
Yeah, I think Conference USA is awkwardly the Rice Owls, Kennesaw State Owls, Temple Owls, and maybe one more. Or they broke up. Some of them went to the American. Yeah, but at one point, Conference USA had all the Owls. Florida Atlantic was the Owls, too.
That's right.
They had all the Owls in one conference, but I think they've now gone to the American. Speaking of the American, Army is now in the American today. Good for them.
I am so lost.
Yeah. By the way, Kennesaw State will have to serve the same penalty as Jack State and James Madison has, but officially today, that is over with for Jack State, James Madison. They can now play in the playoffs and win the national championship.
So stupid.
Here's Kennesaw State. It's a cute little stadium.
Cute little stadium.
I mean,
is
look at
not
that.
what you
Yeah,
want
no.
if you're a college
but
football
look,
team.
it's a full rounded bowl.
Well, I mean, hell, Jim.
Yeah, it looks more like
full rounded bowl.
a fair.
If I'd have said, what do you think Kennesaw State Stadium looked like, you didn't think it would look that good, did
It's
you?
like Texas has
That's
bigger high
about
schools.
what I would have thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what does that hold? 6,000?
I know.
No, I mean it's Thompson Stadium with one infield in.
Yeah, I mean, Thompson has just about the same schedule, right?
By the way, that was pretty
Now
clutch
look,
that Forrester was able to pull that
I
so
know.
quickly.
Look,
I mean, I'm not blown away by that.
I thought it was a nice.
Yeah,
looking
what's on
stadium.
the press box? Is there like water slides behind it?
It does look like
That would be fun.
theme park.
First half of the season. Fifth Third Stadium. That's a weirdly named bank. I've never understood the naming of that bank, Fifth Third Bank.
Yep.
But you see a lot of it, I think, like in Cincinnati and apparently in Georgia.
Yep.
10,200 people in that stadium.
10,200, man. That's
rocking.
Yeah.
the same. That's about the same you can stuff into Cameron Indoor.
10,200 there at Kennesaw State, the Owls.
Keith says 45,000 students there at Kennesaw State. Oh, night under the lights.
Oh,
Saturday
good
night.
look at the sun setting in Kennesaw, Georgia.
They opened their home schedule against Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns, on September 7th at 6 o'clock.
But their first
Probably
ever
impossible to find a ticket.
first ever nationally televised game will be October the 4th against Friday night against Jacksonville State at home. First ever nationally televised home game, I should say.
Yeah.
We'll get to see that under the lights on a Friday night. Can't wait.
Ugh.
All right. Show being brought to you by our friend Dr. B, and we'll get to best and worst of the weekend coming up on the other side. Tell us about Dr. B.
Yeah, Dr. B, absolutely the man. Brown just went to see him a couple of months ago. I went to see him a couple of years ago. And since that time, I do the non-invasive treatment, 30 minutes each time, 3 times a week on the couch. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. T3hair.net for more information. Call to schedule a consultation, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training in genetic testing, to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Again, for more information, t3hair.net.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter at RockstarBHM.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunceford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Best and worst of the weekend every Monday during the first hour of the show, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. Before Brownie tells you about Hemp Hill, here is my best of the weekend. Forrester, if I can get the Simone Biles picture, her opening run on the floor exercise, guys, they measured her height. Look at this. And her tumble, now she's tumbling and spinning. I don't know how many tumbles, flips, and everything, but LT, if you'll look at the screen here, her head is 12 feet above the mat on her opening tumbling run on the floor exercise as she tumbles there.
I wouldn't feel comfortable just dropping from that right there onto the mat.
No joke.
So, I mean, she's married. I forget the Bears player she's married to, but he's a receiver, I think. The athleticism, if they ever have children, but she's 27 going back to her third Olympics. She's the oldest gymnast to compete for the United States in 72 years. You just don't continue to come back in this sport. And her opening run was just mind-boggling to continue to watch in a replay. Again, she's not just jumping. She is spinning and flipping through the air. That was my best of the weekend, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill.
Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Whether you experience plumbing, cooling, heating issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train, hemphillservices.com.
She make the team?
She did. She got the only automatic bid. You had to win to get the automatic bid. And then live on NBC, the three people that make the ultimate decision go back in, and they come out and announce the full team.
So it's like American Idol?
Wait. You don't get to see the debate going on.
Right.
And then NBC has to fill.
Oh, but that's exciting.
And it went on forever, Brown. And there's some tumbling going on by other people just to fill time, and music's playing. But Tirico even had to, during one segment between two commercial breaks, the segment had to last 2 minutes. He walks from outside. Let me show you where the debate's going on, and walks through the tunnel behind these doors right here.
Yeah.
More from Minneapolis at the Target Center when we come back.
Wow. That's intriguing.
But if you recognize one of those, former Auburn gymnast and the winner of the gymnastics all-around, Suni Lee from Auburn is back on the team after major health problems to get back on there.
Good for her.
And Are the Americans favored in Paris?
I think so. They become the first.
Remember how good the Russians used to be?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, everything.
And now I believe the Chinese are really good.
Yeah.
Those communist countries.
It's a numbers game, right?
Those communist countries know how to play the Olympics game.
The United States becomes the first ever gymnastics team to send back two defending all-around champions, two different ones. Because Simone won it 2 Olympics ago.
Yeah.
Suni won it last time.
So you sat and watched this all night?
I watched it a little bit Friday night when I got home with a cocktail. And then...
surprised you weren't watching Emily in Paris.
Last night it's not new season's out. As I was doing some show notes last night, it was on in the background.
Yeah.
So it was really, really good. Enjoyed it. It was very good.
Keith's best, being retired finally and not letting my Monday mess up my Sunday. Congratulations,
Oh,
Keith.
yes.
Right, Keith.
Congratulations.
I'm assuming this
Keith.
is his first day of
I'd
retirement.
love to know Keith's age, if he doesn't mind sharing.
And net worth. Bob, worse, no sports this time of year. Well, Jim sat and watched gymnastics Saturday night.
There's only 3 games in Major League Baseball today.
Can you? I mean, who said that? Bob.
Bob said that.
Bob. First of all the new teams that move conferences. That's
sports.
not
really sports.
And Jude Bellingham's bicycle kick in what's it called? Injury time, stoppage time.
Couldn't tell you.
To save England's butt to keep them from being eliminated in the Euros, as they're one of the favorites, and they were down 1-0, and the ref can stop it at any time, and he does a bicycle kick to tie it up, and they go to extra time, and then Kane gets it to keep England alive. That's not sports. Come on.
Man. Damn, I hate I missed that.
What day was that?
Keith, 55. Keith, we need to talk.
Yeah, good for Keith.
I am very, very, very impressed.
Keith, you don't mind if we use your story as we're pitching clients, do you?
Oh, boy. He's living the dream
The
now.
affluent audience that we have. Thank you, Keith.
SS, worst of the weekend, Akshay Bhatia with the bogey putt to end it. Feels so bad for the guy who was on the PGA Tour. He lost there at the end.
Was going to win,
Good
right?
Yeah. Good story. A lot of guys were falling apart. Nobody really wanted to win that tournament, it appeared, down the stretch there. A lot of people reminding you it is Jonathan Owens, the Green Bay Packer, that Simone Biles is married to.
Used to be a Bear.
I think a Texan as well, by the way. if I remember his career. Scott's best. Forrester back in the back. His youngest pitched really well. Worst not leaving the park until 7 a.m. They did this Midnight Madness softball. I've never heard of this. Scott, what time did you guys start that?
First game was at 7 p.m. Friday night.
And you never went home after that?
No.
And y'all made it all the way to the finals?
We did.
And lost?
And lost.
That sucks.
They were so done at the end.
Did y'all sleep in cars, tents, campers? Did y'all have a Johnson RV out there? What'd you do?
There was no sleep.
Oh,
nope.
Would have been for me. I can't stay awake through the night.
Now we were adults, men. We played in one that was, I think it was 48 hours nonstop in outside of Macon, Georgia one time. And I think our first game was like the wee hours of the morning too. But then we didn't play again until mid-morning the next day, so we went back to a rundown hotel.
Now, was that a fun tournament or is that a serious tournament?
Well, I mean, we were the Gym Sox, so we were taking it serious. It was slow pitch.
The JIM Gym Sox.
Yeah, I'm just saying most slow pitch, you go to these tournaments, people have got like a bucket from Lowe's with iced down beer sitting in the parking lot.
It was a combination of both. Yeah, people were drinking and sliding. A little
sliding.
Both. Sliding means it's serious and drinking. But that's amazing. I didn't know they did it for kids.
Yeah, ours was definitely more of a fun thing. They had a dance party at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'm going to put heavy air quotes around the fun, Scott.
Yeah.
Maybe
that makes it worse, doesn't it?
I know. Yeah, the dance off.
I did see your post where you're sitting there by the fence and waiting to play, and it was midnight or something.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. Knowing you're still 6 hours from the finish line.
Waiting to play.
Wow, that's crazy. Rusty's best T-Pain concert last night at Avondale. T-Pain was at Avondale?
Wow.
Is that true?
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, Michael Sellers does a good job of getting some unique talent booked to that venue.
No, my friend Summer from Night Edie, I believe it was her on my timeline last night. I was waiting on T-Pain. I didn't know where she was. It was a packed house, so it was a beautiful outdoor venue.
Avondale.
I thought it was at some festival, so it was at Avondale. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best and worst of the weekend continues throughout the show, brought to you by our friends at Hemphill. A couple more, Browning?
I'm just digging through them. I had two best real quick. Dinner with the family, our friends at Oak House. It was like a next round reunion in there. Dr. McCabe was in there. Brett McCabe and his wife talked to him. So our good friend Frank Bromberg was in there. Floyd Larkins was in there. I mean, it was just covered up with people that have been part of our past. So it was really cool. And had an amazing meal. I didn't order off the menu. I created something on my own. And got it dialed in there now.
That's not pompous at all. You created your own off-the-menu
items?
I did,
yeah. It was really, really good, too. I'll tip you all off if you want to be pompous and have a great meal there. I mean, any meal's a great meal.
I'm fine with the menu.
The off-menu stuff is the way to go, too.
The best off-menu thing I ever had, LT told me about it before it became a menu item at Chuck's Fish, right? The TNT used to be an off-menu thing, right?
I think it was, way back in the day.
It wasn't on the menu, and LT said, get them to make you a TNT roll. Now it's the most ordered roll.
Well, it's the roll with crab on top.
I just combined two menu items into one plate. Is essentially what I did there. And
I know the pork chop was one of them.
Actually, no. This is the pork chop. They got the best pork chop I've ever had, but I get it all the time. So I'm trying to branch out.
The tuna's really good too.
And this was my effort to branch out, and I have done it now. So now I've got competition with the pork chop. I don't know which one I want to order. My other best of the weekend is Dr. McCabe. We played golf the other day. You see him on the Mental Wellness podcast with Lance. Does a tremendous job of that. And he maintains The Americans is the best series he's ever watched on TV.
It's really a great series.
Yeah.
And I told him, you know what? I never finished it. He goes, Brownie. He said, it probably has. They probably stuck the landing better than anything I've ever watched.
I need to go back and watch it because that was a show. Well, Bethany and I watched it together. And like the final season, I think, was when we were going through the divorce. So I just didn't pick it back up.
So I never
finished
it.
But I'm almost willing to go back and start from the very beginning.
That's what Jennifer and I did this weekend. Jennifer and I had watched it, and we never finished it. So we started back at the start. I'd forgotten how good that show was right out of the chute.
No. I remember saying that. Remember, it was the couple of seasons before the final year that I stuck with it, and it got a little redundant in a couple of places. But I remember saying the last year may have been the best year.
Yeah, he said they finished it better than he was talking about Game of Thrones. He's like, I hated the Game of Thrones ending. He was talking about all these. He said the Americans finished it better than any series I've ever watched.
Lost, drug on, didn't end correctly.
Yep. So Jennifer and I are back in, and I had forgotten how good that series was right out of the chute. It starts so good.
Yep. Really good.
And as I pointed out to my wife, prime Kerry Russell.
Kerry Russell.
That was Kerry Russell's.
Hey, she's still. The last time I saw her was Cocaine Bear. It's been a couple of years, but
she's
prime Kerry Russell right there.
She's on her cheesy Netflix show called The Ambassador, maybe, or the Diplomat. The Diplomat. I think she's the main character in that. All right, best and worst for you. Did you have a good weekend?
Oh yeah, man. Just hung out with the family. Yeah, there was no worst. Just I guess that it rained. It's weird that it doesn't rain around here until Saturday and Sunday. But we battled through. As long as there's no thunder, I'm still out there swimming.
I played golf yesterday, and you could tell it was raining all around the golf course.
That's what you want.
Heavy clouds, and it didn't rain at all.
Unless you're the greenskeeper.
All right, best and worst of the weekend brought to you by Hemp Hill. The show is also brought to you by the wonderful folks at Hydra Live. We're in the 90s all week long again. 94 today, 94 most of the week will be the high. The heat indexes will touch triple digits. Hydra Live gets you ready for anything in life and helps you stay healthy.
Absolutely. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, it's all under one roof. You can boost your immune system with Hydra Live therapy. IV therapy treatments packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, boost your immune system, and much more. Also ask about memberships. Members rewarded with deep discounts. You basically recoup that IV membership fee in just one visit. Hydra Live therapy open daily, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, now Greystone Highway 119, also a Tuscaloosa location. Make sure you mention the next round. You're going to get 20% off all of these great services. For more information and to check out those services, go online, hydralivetherapy.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at scottforestertv.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the Bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or the Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe, the choice is yours.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Back with you on the next round as we continue on. LTD and B with you. Rockstar, Lunceford, Tyler, Forrester behind the big glass back there. Little T is working everything social media at Next Round Live. Really interesting interview, Uncorked, with Little T. She has started a series counting down to the start of the Auburn football season with an interview with Jason Campbell. You can get that where you get Uncorked on this platform and everywhere else, including just following Uncorked straight up. Here is a look at her interview with Jason Campbell there. Uncorked Auburn season preview. It is rolling right now. Go check it out on YouTube. Just search Uncorked or go to Next Round Live on YouTube and look for the little button icon there and click on and see Little T's conversation with the Auburn great and now Auburn analyst Jason Campbell. And a brand new pennant Grace later on today. Emily Grace and Ush will slide in here to talk a little Braves baseball after the weekend, getting ready to chase down the All-Star break as we hit the halfway point of the Major League season. That's live today after the show with the pennant Grace. And don't forget War Dam Pods, Roll Tide Pods, and all that at Disrupt the Medium with another hour here. Manning Passing Academy this week. Really interesting stuff always comes out of this. One thing everyone was talking about was Jalen Milroe on Friday Night Lights, where he, through would-be tacklers, stays very mobile and hits a very precision pass. Everyone who leaves the Manning Passing Academy talking about Milroe's accuracy. And you would say that was his biggest question mark, right? Could he 100%. Hit the intermediate short passes?
But yeah, we've always known that was the one thing about Milroe. Very athletic, big physical guy, could, throw the deep ball extremely well, but it was the intermediate, and it was more accuracy. But he really developed in season. Obviously, he didn't have his best game against Michigan, but if he gets where he becomes an accurate quarterback, watch out.
Yeah, with his skill set. I was going to look at his game log here. He started, I'm going to throw out Middle Tennessee. He was 72% in that game, though. But, he was 51% against Texas, just 14 of 27 against Texas for 255. But the two interceptions were the big thing there. Like, without those two interceptions against Texas, you could live with 51% completion
wins the game.
Probably win the game.
Especially that one, was it the fourth quarter, start of the fourth
quarter?
Yeah,
very early, yeah. But again, I'm not saying, I'm just saying if you didn't have two picks, you can live with 51% passing with Jalen Milroe. But then after he did not start against South Florida, 17 of 21, 255 and a touchdown and a pick against Ole Miss, 81%. Then at State, 83%. Now, he only threw it 12 times, but he was 10 of 12. He hit the ones he threw. Then 63% at A&M in that win, 21-33, 21 of 33. That was far from a given win right there. Jalen Milroe bailed Alabama out. He had to pull him out of the fire in that game. Dipped against Arkansas, 47%. But then once he got past Arkansas, 66% against Tennessee. 65% against LSU, 68% against Kentucky, 81% against Chattanooga, 66% against Auburn. It dipped a little bit against Georgia, 56%, but he still threw two touchdowns in that game. So my point was,
what was it against Michigan?
Well, against Michigan, better than you would have thought, 69%.
Yeah.
16 of 23 against Michigan, but just 116 yards. It was a bunch of short passes is the problem.
Yeah, or didn't throw it enough.
Yeah. But to your point, Lance, as the season went, you saw once he got past that Arkansas game, 66%, 65, 68, 81, 66. I mean, he got into a rhythm and was completely
I was about
passive.
to say what CU and Buff says. Milroe will benefit the most from DeBoer. DeBoer turned Jay Kaner into an NFL quarterback. Yeah. I think this is an incredible fit for Jalen Milroe, getting a coach like Kalen DeBoer. I mean, look, Saban's the greatest of all time. We know that. But I'm just talking about to personally mentor him at this position.
And maybe an upgrade in receivers, and the news of Milroe and the receivers and everything has actually changed the betting odds a little bit. The top two teams are still Georgia and Texas to win the SEC, but Alabama has now jumped back over Ole Miss, who was the betting favorite to be third best betting odds. Alabama is now back to third best. Ole Miss is fourth. LSU, off-season buzz, has gotten them back ahead of Tennessee. LSU fifth and sixth. there for Tennessee, some of the betting odds that have changed a little bit over the weekend.
How short are the odds on Milroe right now to win the Heisman Trophy? Because your favorite, who is your favorite? Dylan Gabriel's got to be up there.
I would say Quinn Ewers is probably your favorite.
Quinn Ewers.
Carson Beck's got to be up there.
Carson Beck's got to be up there. Will Howard's got to be up there.
Yeah.
More guys at the Manning Passing Academy here. Go ahead. You had one more thing?
Well, I just wanted to ask you on Milroe, as it relates to Milroe. He was 65.8% last year. Now you're going to want to increase some of the other numbers, but all right, let me do that then. 2,834 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 picks. You would take 65% if the touchdowns are, instead of 23, maybe 35?
Yeah, 3,500 yards.
3,500 yards is the number I was going to go with.
Yeah, cut the picks in half.
Yeah, 3 picks. You would So accuracy, while you would like for him to improve accuracy, you would take the same exact accuracy he had last year. If the passing yardage was a little bit better and the touchdowns were a little bit better and the interceptions were cut, from 6 to 3, you're going to throw 3 less interceptions. I know everybody wants him to be more accurate, and that's good to hear, but I'm saying just his completion percentage last year, you would absolutely take this year again at 65% with his skill set.
The other guys who made headlines at the Friday Night Lights at the Manning Passing Academy after LT tells us about the wonderful folks at New York Butcher Shop that have a great deal going on this week.
They do. If you're looking to host a party, you're taking something to a party, how about the Boston butt sale from our friends at the New York Butcher Shop? You can get it fully cooked, hickory smoked, $42.99. Available for pickup on the 2nd, which is tomorrow, right? The 3rd and the 4th. They will be open until 3 o'clock on the 4th. Reservations only, 2 locations. The original in Cabo Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Get in and see Jim, the fine folks. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
One other takeaway from what I was reading, Riley Leonard participated Friday Night Lights. After a couple off-season surgeries, they were saying he looked fine. That was a question mark, I thought, going into camp. How was Riley Leonard? Looked really good. Jackson Arnold, according to people who were there Friday Night Lights, throws one of the better deep balls in college football. How important is he to Oklahoma this year?
Look, I think, again, for the most experienced quarterback coming back in 2024, for him to bolt because Venables already had a deal, basically a verbal agreement that Jackson Arnold was going to be the guy, and knowing that Jackson Arnold is better than Dylan Gabriel, that's all you need to know. Either Jackson Arnold or Nico, I think, is going to be one of the major storylines, maybe both, in the SEC this year. Because I think both come in, and I really don't think there's much of a learning curve, kind of like you got with Jalen Milroe. Yeah. I think these guys are good from day one.
I am thankful it's a Friday night game when Oklahoma opens against Temple. Otherwise, I never would see this. But I am fascinated to see Jackson Arnold.
That's right.
As the guaranteed, you are the starter, right? It is your job. That's a Friday night, 7 o'clock ESPN game, by the way, Oklahoma Temple on ESPN.
I was reading earlier, and he actually was born in Swanee or grew up a little bit in Swanee, and then they moved away. So he grew up a Georgia fan. And he referenced the one game, he said his favorite player was Aaron Murray, and referenced the Auburn game on the Prairie Jordan-Hare. That was the game he was talking about watching as a kid.
Oh, really?
Breaking his heart.
Murray played pretty well there.
Little T updating the odds for us. Carson Beck, the betting favorite for the Heisman, then Quinn, Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, 4th. In the betting odds for the Heisman Trophy. Best all around, they said 3 guys. It was hard to separate them. One of them was Carson Beck, just doing everything right. Another one was Quinn Ewers. This is the media that covered our Manning Passing Academy. The other one was another SEC quarterback. It was Jackson Dart. Size and arm strength probably doesn't get enough respect was the one thing I read.
Probably not. And this is a kid that's been around for a long time, going back, starting at USC and the last couple of years at Ole Miss. I just, this league is so deep when you talk about brand names, when you talk about quality, elite, borderline elite coaches and quarterbacks.
What was the problem with Jackson Dart last year? Because you look
I think they struggled to be able to run the ball at times against Alabama.
Yeah.
After
I've just always said he's a little rough around the edges, kind of like Milroe.
Yeah. In numbers sometimes lie, but his numbers were a lot like Milroe's. 65% completion percentage, more yards, 3,364 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 picks. He didn't turn it over a ton. He didn't have a single game where he had more than 1 pick. He did not have a multiple interception game. that ought to be good enough in Lane Kiffin's offense. The way Lane Kiffin's able to run the football normally, he's such a run-heavy offense.
Now, I don't know what's going on. They lost another, commit, the 2025 class Friday, and that thing's bleeding out right now.
Whole story at ESPN.com.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll jump into that in the next segment. But he is the guy that you even said when he came from USC, right? That's where he came from, that he had a skill set. And it seems like he's got so much game experience.
Well, fearless. I remember watching the first time he came in, and I guess Slovis had gone down, and it was against Washington State in Pullman. And, he was just a raw 18-year-old. But, I mean, he's a great leader. I really wonder if he ever works himself into being a polished passer. I just haven't seen that from Jackson.
I will say, here's your concern about Jackson Dart. Like, if you look at last year and you're like, okay, what went wrong? They lost 2 regular season games, and that was against Alabama and Georgia, right? As you would expect. Both those on the road. Against Alabama, he was 20 of 35, 244, 0 touchdowns and a pick. You're not beating Alabama playing that way as a quarterback. And then against Georgia on the road, 10 of 17, 112, 0 touchdowns and a pick. So there's your problem if you're championing Jackson Dart, is the 2 biggest games he played last year and the 2 best teams he played last year. The 2 teams that played for the SEC had his 2 worst games. So, I mean, that's where you have your concern.
Arch Manning did not throw Friday night at Friday Night Lights, but Quinn Ewers did. All these other quarterbacks did. I don't know what's going on, if Arch had some reason he didn't throw, but let the conspiracy theorists start there. And maybe Arch didn't want to throw while Quinn was there throwing as well.
It's his family's event. His name's on the jersey.
He probably threw as a high schooler at some point.
Yeah.
Other names that were mentioned in this story, and listen, I don't know if Brady Cook was there. He's not on my list that was mentioned in the 2 stories I read.
I would assume he would be.
I don't know if Peyton Thorne, I don't know who wasn't and was there. I was just the 2 stories I read, these are the names that popped for people. DeQuan Finn of Baylor popped for the folks who were watching it.
Played in the MAC last year.
Dylan Gabriel. Garrett, somebody from West Virginia. I can't read my writing.
Green.
Yeah, Garrett Green. Klubnik. I told you Riley Leonard. And Connor Wegman from Texas A&M. And that becomes an interesting guy, Texas A&M and Connor Wegman. You mentioned earlier they could slide into possibly being 9-2 going into that Texas game. That would mean Wegman would have to play his best to get to that point. Manning Passing Academy, always a good time when there's, as Bob says, not a whole lot going on in the sports world around college football.
We do have a little bit of college football breaking news.
Okay, we'll get to that right after LT tells us about our friends at Hemphill as we continue our best and worst of the weekend.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. That is the number you need to call. If you have any issues with heating, cooling, plumbing, call Adam, Chad, Andrew. The guys there. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
I'm less interested in what this means for the defensive coordinator, more interested in what you think it signals for the head coach, okay, as I give you this breaking news. From Pete Thamel, ESPN, sources are telling him that Utah is naming defensive coordinator Morgan Scalley the official successor to Kyle Whittingham.
Oh, wow.
He'll make at least $5 million per year as the head coach when he is elevated.
That's next year.
That's what I was going to ask. You think so? Right now, he's making $2 million a year as defensive coordinator, or he will in this new contract, and he's guaranteed the job, and will make $5 million a year as the head coach.
So he's 64-year-old Kyle Whittingham basically is saying this is his last year.
I mean, is that what you read into that? So he's going to coach 1 year in the Big 12?
Well,
and
I think he thinks that this could be a special year. You know, their offense was bad last year. They still had 8 wins. Now with Cam Rising coming back, I think he believes that he can win the Big 12, get to a college football playoff, and sail away.
Yeah, I think you almost have to. Yeah, you can only do this if it is going to be your last year or close to it, because you're going to get killed in recruiting on this, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
That's where everybody's going to go out in recruiting and say, this guy's going to retire. They've already named his successor. You don't want to go play for Morgan Scalley. What's Morgan Scalley going to do, you know? You'll get killed in recruiting on this. So, yeah, I mean, I read into this.
I mean, we really don't have head coaching waitings anymore.
No, it used to be a thing. James Franklin at Maryland famously, and that fell apart.
It did feel like we were treating Sharon Moore that way last year. Even though it was never officially announced, just because of the penalties that were pushed down on Jim Harbaugh. That's interesting news there. But Whittingham is a guy who we talk about on the show all the time. looks younger, stays in great shape, looks younger than he is, lives an active lifestyle, loves to ski. He just looks like he's a guy that may be ready to enjoy time away from working.
Yeah. I mean, our man Keith retired at 55 today.
That's right. He's got a decade on a Whittingham.
Whittingham, 10 years behind him. All right, when we come back, we'll continue the college football conversation that's going on. But a big commitment yesterday. Forrester, who is this that is committing a really unique commitment? Give me Forrester's microphone.
This is going to be Zay Thomas.
Zay Thomas. Now, one interesting thing before Forrester shows us his commitment is that he becomes the first member of the Seminole tribe to ever play for Florida State.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you know where this guy lives?
I would imagine in Florida, Brown. I don't
You don't know that?
Somewhere close to the Hard Rock Cafe, because look at this commitment yesterday. Here is Zay, the DB, top 24, top recruit there, committing to Florida State. He's singing, and then they're going to go to his commitment.
Is he playing piano, too?
He is.
Wow, Zay is a multi-tool player. Oh, he faked him out on the hat.
Yep. And here's the big announcement. Up on
the Hard Rock. Holy crap.
Wait, here it comes. Don't pan away from it. Zay commits.
They're panning.
It ended up saying Florida State there.
So the Hard Rock Hotel did it? I'm going to say Zay's got some connections.
It is the Hard Rock Seminole Hotel.
Okay, there you go. I'm going to say Zay's dad's high up in the hierarchy. Would you think, Lance?
His old man probably got some complimentary chips last night.
You think he might be the chief?
Maybe.
Zay's old man's the chief?
Pretty interesting commitment.
Wow.
There. Love that. How can anyone top that announcement?
That's going to be a tough one there. I will say, we always talk about they kind of get stale and everybody does the hat trick. That one is unique. I've never seen this one. Who was the guy? Anybody remember the guy that had the little Georgia, the English Bulldog puppy? I can't remember. Was it?
It held it up like this.
It was a big dude. Defensive lineman, wasn't he?
I thought it was a running back. I thought the guy that ended up playing at Alabama State or Alabama A&M. You remember who it is?
Oh, yeah.
I cannot say his name right now. But he had the little English Bulldog puppy he brought out. And I was always like, okay, there's unique. You got a baby mascot.
But it looked so, it almost looked sad. Like the way he was holding it, I was afraid he was going to squeeze it to death. All right, we continue on, including 4 Downs on the show that's being brought to you today by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Hey, stay healthy. For me, blood pressure, cholesterol was the reason I went to see Leslie and her board-certified team. You may want to jumpstart weight loss, something else. They can help you through your food consumption. Live a healthier life. This is the guys, everyone up here, taking a visit to Leslie for a free no obligation consultation there with Leslie and her team to learn more about Way to Wellness, what they can do for you, all the benefits and treatments they offer. Go to aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. The Meltdown guys, they're live today at 2 o'clock. They are a combined 80-plus pounds lighter now, starting just a few weeks ago with Way to Wellness. I one time lost 45 pounds with Way to Wellness, and have been able to keep it off thanks to the great folks there. Planforme.com, no contract, no sign-up fee, and that first consultation is free. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
Our friends at Long-Use Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Long-Use offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Long-Use offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Long-Use sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Long-Use has to offer you.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Michigan is our 40-40 team today. We'll get to 4 downs in a second. Sometimes has a Michigan flavor to it, or 40-40 flavor. They're number 8 in the country. LT mentioned Mississippi, Ole Miss losing another recruit. It was 4-star running back Killen Deer. He decommits from Ole Miss back on over the weekend, and on Friday there was actually a big ESPN story about how many commitments Ole Miss has lost. So what do you guys, it seems to be happening with USC as well. What do you think is happening at both those places?
Anymore, don't you just assume the NIL?
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't know.
I mean, you just kind of. I think that's always going to be the natural assumption is, well, that school's NIL isn't delivering the way the player thought it would, and someone else has swooped in and said, "Oh, they didn't give you the Lamborghini? Yeah. Guess what I got over here for you?"
Yeah, or they didn't give you that many dollars, like they said. We told you this was, you can get it right now.
And a lot of these kids are so tight, and I guess if one's unhappy with their NIL deal, they're talking to another teammate, and a lot of these guys, end up, for better or worse, taking off together. Yeah, and that's what, I guess, when it starts leaking a little bit, like it is in Oxford and LA, I guess it's a good opportune time for other teams to come call it.
Boy, once you smell blood in the water, right?
I mean, I think at one point, Brown, didn't we see Killen Deer was, people were starting to buzz about Alabama.
I think On 3 had him crystal balled to Alabama. Got a weird sounding sentence, but I think, that's where, for those who don't follow recruiting, that's where they make their crystal ball prediction. I think they had him crystal balled to Alabama.
Yeah. Troy says, guys, it's way too early to worry about the 25 class. Start paying attention after Thanksgiving. That's when the real moves happen. Unless you're already locked in on your 25. By then you're only upgrading. I'm not sure. Is 25 even a thing anymore? Do we change that rule? Can you sign 50?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I would like to. I'd like to know the percentage of times a guy commits and then decommits and ends up back with that school.
Yeah, it's a great point.
I think Ryan Williams technically did that with Alabama, right?
I think so.
But I just wonder how many, what percentage of time does that guy end up back to the school?
Yeah, I don't even know why there's even a need for a verbal this early. It used to be where other teams will stay away. Nobody's staying away.
Nobody stays away, but sometimes it is the other school's like, listen, we've got 4 guys at this spot.
That's right.
If you don't give the verbal right now, we're gonna have to move on. It's a pressure play.
We need to secure that.
That's right. We got to secure that spot.
I guess it depends on the player. I mean, if you're,
landmine believer. DeBoer just blowing away all expectations with this class. If he can get them signed, absolutely. Tyler believes Deere is coming to Bama, not our Tyler. Tyler in the mybookie.ag chat room. Hey, the show being brought to you today by one of our new sponsors, LT.
Yeah, really excited. Joe and Woody O'Neill, owners of CPAP Plus. They are part of the Next Round family now. And look, there's a lot of guys out there. You might not even know you have sleep apnea, or if you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea, you need a place to get the best supplies. Don't buy your mask and supplies from Amazon or online. Go see the folks at CPAP Plus and see what you're buying. These guys can answer all of the questions. You don't want to buy something that is this important online. Keep it local. Visit any of their 3 convenient locations, one in Pelham, Highway 280, now open and trustful, for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. They carry the best equipment from names like ResMed, React, Fisher Paykel, with masks and supplies in stock every day. Do you need it today? They have it today. They also have travel CPAP machines in stock. You can even rent one to see how you like it. The rental fee can be applied to your purchase of a travel CPAP. Sign up for their July giveaway for a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or come into one of those 3 convenient locations. Go see Joe, Woody. Make sure you tell them that the guys from the Next Round sent you.
Hey, and I will tell you, changed my buddy's life, the CPAP machine, and the technology now. I roomed with him on a recent golf trip, and he apologized. I have the CPAP machine. With the new one, the new quality ones like they have here at CPAP Plus, I couldn't even hear it in the room. It just sounded like like a fan that was on. Yeah. It was unbelievable. The technology now saves lives too. It's amazing stuff. As we before we get to the 4 downs, I want to see how well you know power conferences. Obviously, the new conference for the SEC is now 16. Can you name the 3 schools that no longer are in the SEC that at one time were? I think we can.
Tulane, Georgia Tech, and Swanee.
Tulane left in 66, Georgia Tech in 64, Swanee in 1940.
Okay.
I wonder if they ever regret that.
Who's Swanee?
No, Georgia Tech and Tulane.
I know Georgia Tech and Tulane do. Georgia Tech probably kicks themselves daily.
Swanee probably regrets it the most, right?
Are they even still playing football?
Only one Big Ten school ever left.
University of Chicago?
University of Chicago. They left in 1939 when they stopped playing football, 46 for all other sports.
And I think they were pretty good in football back in the day. I think they had one of those pre-World War I or World War II good football teams. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, Michigan State was able to get the bid when Chicago left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've always viewed Michigan State as a founding member, so they were not a founding member of the Big Ten.
I would have thought so too.
I would have thought so too.
That's surprising
but they were
to
not.
me. Okay.
And here is with all the changing board pieces, the stat that blew me away of all the new relocations, with everybody now moving around or who have come up to the FBS, who are FBS schools now. One school in the FBS, they're actually a Power 4 school. One school who's a Power 4 school has been in a conference with 45 of the now 133 FBS schools. One school, and I would have guessed TCU instantly, and it wasn't TCU, but 45 of the 133 schools this school has shared a conference with.
I would say it is Utah.
Utah was my second guess, and it wasn't them. TCU's, they've gone through a lot.
Yeah, it's not them either. But see, the problem with Utah and TCU is they left behind some of those Group of 5 schools to go to the Pac-12 and Big 12. I am going to go out on a limb on this one and say Syracuse.
Yeah, it is. It's UCF. UCF has been in a conference with 45 of the 133 FBS schools that will be playing football this year. Pretty crazy there. Let's do 4 downs. Brought to you by our friends at Slice. Slice Pizza open for lunch and dinner today.
Yeah, stop in, get a slice. Unique, creative, local ingredients, local pizza. You're going to absolutely love it, from the soul pie, the wing and a prayer, the Bajaya special, the spicy Hawaiian, and much more. Go to slicebirmingham.com or stop into one of those 5 locations today of Slice.
First down.
Who's their current job longer, Sharon Moore or Jonathan Smith?
Smith just took over at Michigan State. For those that aren't following, the former Oregon State coach.
I'll say Smith, good coach. Expectations much lower than Sharon Moore's. I think Jim Harbaugh, Sharon Moore could equal what Harbaugh did, but Harbaugh left him with some pretty high expectations. And Michigan historically has had higher expectations than Michigan State. So I'm going to play the low expectation game and go Jonathan
I would agree.
Smith.
I think Jonathan Smith is one of those guys that, was a Corvallis guy through and through.
Now,
because of the dismantlement of the conference is why he was looking.
But I could also see him, Lance, if he goes there and kills it a couple of years and a big job comes open.
That was the route I was going to
possibly.
go. That he has so much success, relatively speaking, to Michigan State that he leaves for a bigger, more secure situation or a bigger high expectation.
I'm going to go Smith still.
Yeah, I'll go Sharon Moore.
Second down.
More wins this season, Michigan or Detroit? Just regular season for Detroit. So playoffs, postseason included for Michigan, and just regular season of Detroit.
I feel like Detroit's the easy answer here. I
think it is. 9. I think Detroit Lions win more than 9.
I mean, if Detroit is 10-7, that is a disappointment this year, right?
Yeah.
And if Michigan's 10-2, that feels high end for them.
Detroit, that roster is really young. They're really good. They were half away from going to the Super Bowl last year.
A 10-7 for them this year. Though in that division, it's a fascinating division, they all are, but that's a fascinating division. Jordan Love, does he take that next step forward and all of a sudden the Packers become a challenger? A serious challenger in that division. What is J.J. McCarthy as a rookie quarterback? Is he C.J. Stroud?
Yeah, they have a veteran.
The Vikings,
if he doesn't start, but the Vikings, you expect to take a step back. But Chicago,
rookie
quarterback.
Yeah, they're both 2 rookie quarterbacks there in that division. So
I'd go Lions.
I think I go Lions in this one too.
Third down.
Dan Aykroyd, 72 years old. Better career when it's all said and done. Dan Aykroyd or Daniel Craig?
Is there a huge gap between him and Chevy Chase? Chevy seems much older.
Yeah, I think Chevy lived a little harder.
Okay.
But I would think that Chevy's probably 75.
I'll put him maybe older than that.
Maybe 80.
Yeah, it surprises me Aykroyd's only 72 is what I'm saying. I thought he'd be older.
Yeah, so...
Last time you saw Dan Aykroyd?
I can't remember.
That's a great question. I have no idea.
What's it, little skull vodka?
Yeah.
He believes in UFOs.
So Daniel Craig, obviously he's been James Bond, which normally trumps just about everything else.
The thing I believe about Daniel Craig, most guys, once they kind of get, outside of Sean Connery, they kind of get stereotyped once they're Bond and they really don't do anything after. Daniel Craig is a really good actor. I think he'll do a lot of things.
Dan Aykroyd's
done a lot.
But the Bond franchise isn't what it was, right? So it's easier not to be stereotyped compared to the way it was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Well, it's not as cheesy now.
Yeah.
They're
really good movies.
Dan Aykroyd's best work is what?
Ghostbusters,
he was
Great
good.
Outdoors. He was the
Driving Miss Daisy.
He was the son on Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah, he was nominated for Academy Award.
Yeah,
Spies Like Us, right?
Bob says Spies Like Us. I like that.
And My Girl.
Yeah.
You said Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
The Dad and My Girl is a good pull there.
Dr. Detroit.
Where
he was a pimp.
He did Saturday Night Live. I think I'm going to go Dan Aykroyd here.
Yeah, look, he's a pretty good musician, isn't he?
Yeah, the Blues Brothers, man. Blues Brothers. He's right here.
Isn't he known as a jerk?
That's Chevy Chase.
I thought Dan Aykroyd was too, though.
I don't know.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I know Chevy Chase is. I'll go Aykroyd.
I'm going to go Aykroyd too, just with Trading Places. That was good.
Yeah, it was.
Fourth down.
I loved Spies Like Us when I was growing up.
When I was growing up. I haven't gone back. I'm going to say that it does not hold up well.
I don't know if it does or not, but growing up, I would have told you that was the funniest movie ever.
I finally gave in. Jack wanted me to watch Grown Ups, and I watched it last night.
Yeah,
Did you like it?
Okay, so I had 2 laugh out loud moments in the first scene, and I didn't laugh again the entire movie.
First scene.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
I've never seen
laugh
it.
out loud. Yeah.
I didn't.
Well, it was just he had, the late Cameron Boyce, really talented kid that was on Disney forever, and he passed away with a seizure a couple of years ago. Him and this other kid are Adam Sandler's kid, and and this might not be funny at all, but one of the kids was like, "Hey, we were at Spielberg's, and they've got a 150-inch TV. Can we get one?" And he said, "When you direct TT, we'll get you a 150-inch TV." But that was one of my 2 laughs. And now Jack's saying, we need to watch 2. Two's better.
I only laughed twice at one.
Yeah. Bob is saying Grown Ups 2 is better.
Okay, so Pamela Anderson, 57 today. Princess Diana would have been 63. More iconic, Princess Diana or Pamela Anderson?
I'm going to say worldwide Princess Diana.
You guys laugh, but one of the more iconic like pin-up like girls of our time was Pamela Anderson.
Dies, you think they're going to have a funeral like that?
It's going to be on,
stop what they're doing.
It's going to be on TMZ. I mean, Princess Di shut the world down when she died. Yeah, I'm going to go Princess Di. I thought you were going to say better career, which is a more interesting argument to me because I don't really know what Princess Diana's career was.
Well, she was you know what's weird is she wanted to get into acting. And so the rumor was, instead of Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard, it was going to be Princess Diana.
Right. And that's why they killed her?
I don't know. I don't think that's why they killed her, but well, maybe. I mean, maybe the royal family didn't want her acting. I mean, Meghan Markle, that didn't work out well.
No, it did not. It did not. Allegedly killed her. That's obviously the conspiracy theories. I should have said allegedly there. Better career, I really don't know, but more iconic.
Princess Diana, I mean, I'm sure she,
I mean, she did some good stuff.
Did a lot for charities and
a lot
things
for
like
AIDS.
that.
I think she was a champion for AIDS in Africa.
She was one of the first ones that actually shook a hand of an AIDS patient when nobody thought you could touch him.
That was the other thing. They said that Chris Rock looked like a bulimic Michael Vick. And that's all I could say. It really looked like Michael Vick in his last stages of AIDS. But I mean, I couldn't get it out of my head, though. I never thought Chris Rock really... that was my number 2 laugh.
Troy says Pam's best contribution, Baywatch, and the first ever sex tape. Would that go down in history as the first ever sex tape on the internet?
Oh, I mean, the Kardashian led to bigger things. But yeah, maybe Paris Hilton. By the way, I saw something. Paris Hilton's advocating for something, but her voice has completely changed.
Oh, really?
It is the weirdest thing. Yeah.
Oh. I heard her interview on Call Her Daddy. She was on that about a year ago, and it's a more mature voice, not as I want to say Valley Girlish, but
it was very, very weird. I didn't see the Pam and Tommy Hulu series.
I didn't watch that either because that looked cheesy.
Yeah,
for me. Is that 4?
That's 4.
That's 4 downs. Brought to you by our friends at Slice.
And they've got 5 locations now: Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. The newest location in Edgewood, created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers Jason and Chris continue the legacy. Get in, see them at one of those 5 locations. Local pizza, local ingredients. It is Slice.
Joey Logano wins in Nashville. A record 5 overtime restarts. Green-white checker restarts there, so people are running out of gas everywhere. USA Soccer tonight, Uruguay, FS2, 8 o'clock. The Americans have to win, or most likely need a win, and they need to hold on. Point differential over Panama to advance on to the knockout stages there. And unfortunately, Dick Vitale, word comes out over the weekend. He is once again, I think, for the 4th time, battling cancer.
And what is so sad is he had just announced that he was cleared to talk again because he had vocal cord cancer.
Right.
Most recently, I believe. He was just cleared to talk again and do games again. He had just made that announcement.
It's unbelievable.
It really is so sad.
Yeah.
Guy that's so full of energy and life, and this is 4 times now for him.
Yeah, and done so much work for cancer treatment and research, and he's the one battling it now. So our thoughts to them and anyone battling that horrible disease. When we come back on the next round, we'll talk more college and NFL football with you. Joel Klatt joins us at the top of the hour. Show being brought to you in part today by our wonderful friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Make sure you're enjoying it responsibly this year by the pool, by the lake, by the Gulf, or at a sporting event near you. It's Bud Light, part of the TNR family.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
This hour of the next round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, you. Summer's here. Time to get hot. And at New Balance Birmingham, that's just what we got. For a summertime vibe, see what's inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Back with you on the next round. By the way, a couple of things about Oklahoma and Texas as they come into the league. The amount of interest we put in academics in this conference. Do you care?
Nope.
Not one bit. Again, I'll tell you, I challenge anyone to rank the schools beyond Vanderbilt in academic levels and then compare it to the actual national list and get it right. Yeah. Like, nobody knows.
Yeah. Vanderbilt actually comes in 18th nationally.
Okay. Well, I know they're number one. Yeah. So I know Vanderbilt's number one.
Florida comes in 23rd nationally, and then Texas rolls in at 32 nationally.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, if you go back and you watch an old game, you'll see, like, when they throw up where they're from and they'll throw up a GPA.
Right.
Like, I don't think that's a thing anymore, is it?
Yeah, they used to throw up their major, too.
Yeah. I always liked the guy that was a junior and he was undecided.
Yeah. Almost. Would you say 80% was criminal justice? So?
Yeah, general studies and criminal justice. Yeah.
Georgia and Texas A&M 47, Auburn 93. Those are the only SEC schools in the top 100 academically in the country. And just pulling in revenue, Texas comes in to the SEC where they pull in $27 million more dollars through athletics than any other school in the SEC.
All right, say that again now.
They made 2021, 2022 is the last year they had the record on this. $27 million more dollars was created in revenue by athletics. Now they spent more than Georgia did, so Georgia actually cleared a bigger profit. But Texas actually made $27 million more dollars than Georgia did.
And that was with a worse TV deal, too. Yeah, so, I mean.
Whatever TV deal they had.
Yeah.
But Georgia had a bigger profit than anyone else in the SEC. $37 million more than Alabama, by the way, is what they generated there. And if you're wondering about their home stadiums, Oklahoma plays at the Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, which seats, anybody guess the
80? I was going to go 86,000-ish.
I was going to go 92,000.
Yeah, I always thought it was bigger too. 80,126.
Mid-tier in the SEC.
Yeah, I went that one year. I think you guys might have been there.
I did not go.
Alabama played. I think it was 2001, 2002. It seemed like 80,000 then, though,
Yeah,
and they were
and
renovating the stadium. That's why I thought it was going to be bigger.
Me too. And it was under construction.
Yeah,
I guess they were just building suites.
You know, they probably, of all the big SEC schools, have the most sustainable model, though, at 80,000. Like, I think as time goes on, it's going to be harder and
probably
harder.
right. But, you know, we did our Friday show, me and Scott Griffin, from Sports Bar across the street from Memorial. And who walks in for lunch? Bob Stoops.
Did he really?
Yeah, can you just imagine, like, on a Friday, like, Saban walks into, like, Rammer Jammers? You know, how random would that be?
Was he just talking to people?
He was with, like, two dudes, and they sat down, and they ate lunch. Like,
nobody bothered him?
Nobody bothered him.
Yeah. That is wild. And that was 2003, right? Or 02.
Yeah,
that was
one of the years, yeah.
02, so he had already won the national championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was a big deal then.
Oh, yeah, he was a big deal.
Now, I've always liked that stadium. Owen Field, Gaylord family, whatever stadium.
Oh, you're just showing off now. You got pictures of every stadium.
Scott's going to have them all. Now, that press box, you know, on top of the upper deck looks a little old and dated. They're probably going to need to update that at some point.
I
always kind of like that stadium, though.
Where's that picture from? Is that recent?
Looks like the corner of the end zone.
Because that looks
yeah,
like...
with that board, it's probably recent.
No, I think it's pretty recent.
Yeah. Okay. All
Why?
right.
You say that's old?
I was just wondering if it had been
That ain't
remodeled
Kennesaw
since.
State.
It's not Kennesaw State.
I don't know. I don't have the set
By the
setting.
way,
I can't tell you.
Royal Stadium in Austin.
Wow.
We all know it's 100,000. 119.
Ooh, Scott's got the sun setting now.
Yeah.
Now you can
What
really
do you think
judge.
Stoops was making back in 2003?
$2.5 million?
I would say
I think Saban was the first $2 million guy, and that was after he won a national championship
At LSU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty right there.
Because
man.
you know, I read this morning. You guys realize what Venables is making on his new deal?
Oh yeah,
6.5, right?
No,
Oh, I
it's
thought it was
8.6 or 8.9.
8.6
Yeah.
for Rip Venables?
Yeah.
Because remember we talked about it when he signed it that was going to be the new Jimbo maybe if he didn't win this year.
That is a massive deal.
Yeah. Now Texas holds how many? They're okay.
100,119.
See, and it looks smaller than that. Like if you would have asked me, and I guess I would know it just because I've always thought it looks a lot smaller than it is. But if you look at Oklahoma and Texas on TV, don't they look about the same?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. I would agree.
It
with
seems
you.
like
Yeah.
there's a much better crowd at Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma seems full more often than Texas does.
Seems more loud because they seem to be closer.
Right
to
on
the
top
field.
of you. Yeah, I have not been to the Oklahoma Stadium. I know you guys have the Texas Stadium from the outside. Most of it looks good. Then you get around to one side and it's a bit dated. Like you can tell where they've added on and they've done the brick facades.
Brown, we can't rebuild everything at one time.
We need to.
It's not War Memorial, though, is it?
It's a little better than War Memorial, I would imagine.
JohnsonRVCenter.com bringing you this part of the show, Brown.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Get you one of those RVs and go see Darrell K. Royal Stadium right there in Austin, Texas, or go see Gaylord Family Stadium there in Norman, Oklahoma. You can do it in an RV from Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where those lots are that they have completely repriced. So confident in their pricing that they will beat any price nationwide. That is their guarantee at Johnston RV Center. You find a lower price, bring it to them. They will beat it on a comparable RV. Also, RV warranty forever. Make sure you've got a lifetime warranty on anything new and qualifying pre-owned. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
I love this with Keith in retirement. We're going to get, he's got time to dig for things. He's got us the undergrad for Kennesaw State and Oklahoma.
Yeah. Keith, this cannot be a second income for you. I'm sorry.
$45,000 for Kennesaw, he says. $32,000 for Oklahoma.
He's going to be our new Jeff from Anniston.
When I see something like Kennesaw State, though, I always wonder how much of that is distance learning. Like how much of that $45,000 is actually on campus.
Yeah, like Arizona State is everywhere now.
Yeah, University of Phoenix. I mean, that is a lot of distance learning right there.
Grand Canyon, they've got a huge alumni base, and I assume student body. I don't think everybody actually went to Grand Canyon right on campus.
Oh, I would not imagine so, no.
Little T was telling me in Spokane, we all saw the video when we went live with her that day on the show of all the Spokane people, all the Grand Canyon people in Spokane. Listen, I'm hesitant to talk about stories that I don't agree with, but it's a growing trend, so I'm going to bring it up. Just where does Texas and Oklahoma fit into the chaos, excitement of home field advantages and atmosphere? David Cobb writes the story yesterday at CBSSports.com, and it's a growing trend, so I wanted to bring it up of just at least he gets number one right in the SEC with LSU as the best atmosphere in the conference on football Saturdays. He too goes like EA Sports. Alabama number 2.
Okay.
Florida 3, Tennessee 4, Auburn down at 5 on his list. Still no Texas and Oklahoma yet. Does that surprise you yet? We've gone 5.
I view Oklahoma a little more rowdy than Texas.
Yeah,
but
Oklahoma. They've got more of an SEC feel.
Yeah, I've not been to either, so it is really, really hard for me to comment on this.
I know you have not seen the story yet, but so 5, you know, Texas, Oklahoma. Where do you think Texas and or Oklahoma fit into the ranking of the 16 atmospheres on football Saturdays?
I would think below halfway. I would think like 9, 10.
You haven't gotten to
Oklahoma
Neyland?
a little more. Yeah. Neyland.
You haven't gotten to A&M.
Yeah, we have gotten to Neyland.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Did you get to Athens?
Tennessee is 4. No, Auburn is 5. LTU nailed it, by the way. And I know you did not see the story because I barely came across it. Georgia 6th. South Carolina 7, A&M 8th. Then you slide in at 9, Oklahoma ahead of Texas, to your point, Brown. Texas is 10. Just
Boy,
ahead
they're
of,
going to get pissed at that.
Ahead of Missouri.
Just ahead of Mississippi State, Arkansas, Ole Miss is 13, Missouri is 14, Kentucky is 15, Vandy, of course, 16. Bring your own. What did Dabo say?
Bring your own guts to Vandy.
Bring your own guts to Vandy.
I will say this about Alabama, and I know so. Half of our audience, or more than half, hates Alabama, and the other love it. And I think even Alabama fans are like, I don't know how good this atmosphere is. You kind of would go to a game and you knew you were going to win that game. But, I took some people from out of town last year to the LSU game, and they've been to a lot of football games. And they were like, this is by far there is something different about the Quad now and how they do tailgating.
Yeah.
And that stadium is amazing. And then you throw in the bar scene. I mean, Tuscaloosa, like inside the stadium for some of those games gets a little boring. But I'm just talking about the whole setting on a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
I think it was Chris Long, Howie's son, that played in the NFL for a little while, is doing a podcast now, and I cannot remember who he was interviewing.
Yeah, it's Green. I forgot what the podcast is called, but he does a good podcast.
But he was interviewing somebody, and he was talking about being at the Alabama-LSU game just this past season, right? And he was like, man, I had heard how good the atmospheres were in the SEC. I could not believe it.
And that was this year's Alabama.
This was this year's Alabama-LSU game, not even one of the biggest ones in the Alabama-LSU rivalry.
I thought this year's atmosphere was pretty crazy.
But he was like, I was blown away. Like, and this is the guy that's played in all the NFL stadiums, and he played at Virginia, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he didn't get a ton at Virginia, but he's like, man, it was incredible from start to finish. It was just unbelievable. So sometimes I think an outside opinion carries a little bit more weight because we grew up with it.
LT also nailed something I was going to get to. We were talking about the floor, the worst case scenario for Texas and Oklahoma as they come into the league. Will Backus, I think with The Athletic, maybe with CBS Sports, I forget where I read it, but Backus writes, the floor for Texas, you said it would be 9-3. He agrees. He doesn't see any way Texas is worse than 9-3 in their first year in the SEC.
But 9-3 and not making a college football playoff.
Huge disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Texas fans think they're hey, look, we got to a college football playoff. It's just going to get better.
They think they're one of the 3 best teams in the country.
And they might be.
Yeah. Georgia, Ohio State, Texas they think they're one of the 3 best teams in college football. The floor for Oklahoma, and I think we all agree on this too, he says is 6-6 because their schedule is so tough that they could turn up a 6-6.
Like if you gave Texas Oklahoma schedule, I don't know if Texas gets to a college football playoff.
That their talent could not survive the Oklahoma schedule.
We've always heard, SEC doing it week in, week out. Now we get to see it with Oklahoma and Texas, and I really don't know if Texas is going to be able to hold up.
Joel Klatt comes up on the other side. The Pac-12's officially done. Maybe we'll ask Klatt his favorite Pac-12 memory of all, but we'll talk football. He's out talking to the coaches. He's coming up on the other side, and we'll talk to Klatt about that. The show today being brought to you by our wonderful folks at Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, and we're broadcasting from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio. Enjoy the fun of gaming and all the great football Saturdays you can have right there at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino. This is The Next Round.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Joel Klatt in just a moment. This hour of the show always brought to you by Champions. I'll tell you about them in a second. I want to tell you about Storm Restoration Roofing and Greg from Pell City first this hour. A chance with these afternoon thunderstorms, you may get a straight line wind. Some trees may fall down, a little storm damage to that roof. Greg can help you. Like he's helped so many of our viewers and listeners. All you have to do is call that number. It's his cell number, 205-542-3531, 542-3531, or go to Facebook, Greg from Pell City. Locally owned for over 20 years, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. His relationship with the insurance providers are so good that he helps you get some money that you may not get with other people. He just works hard for you in that sense. He understands what it's like to be on a budget, a family man. So he fights for you, and that's them working on their house recently out in Odenville. Works all over the Birmingham metro area and does it with the best quality, family-owned. He and his wife run the place. You can find out why everyone in our chat room chooses Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531. Joel Klatt will join us momentarily. Back on Friday after the show, Alabama got 5-star corner Dijon Lee to pick Alabama over Georgia. He is a day one impact player once he gets on campus next year. He's a 6'3", 6'4". They list him different sites, have him 6'3" or 6'4", corner.
Oh, thank God. Fans always want that.
Yeah, 6'3", 6'4", corner.
I don't know why we have them short corners.
Yeah, that's Troy Vincent. Remember Troy Vincent?
Yeah, which one was more, throw to the tight end guy, run the damn ball guy, or why do we have short corners guy? Which one do you think you heard more? Throw to the tight end guy, run the ball guy, or why do we have short corners guy?
I think short corner was 3. I think run the damn ball first.
He's number one guy?
I'd love to see, I guarantee you, I shouldn't guarantee, more than likely he will transition to safety.
Oh, you think so?
It's funny you say that. Yeah. Everyone says likely projects as a safety.
You don't
at the
see
next level.
6'4" corners.
Our corners are short. They can't get their head around and they're short. What does Nick Saban teach of those corners? Why do they not get their head around? Joel Klatt, man, he toasted so many corners in his days at Colorado. He is with us now. What is up?
Let the butt kissing start already.
Well, Klatt never comes on our show anymore, so we got to be nice to him when he comes on. What is up, Klatt? How are you?
Man, I'm doing really good. How are you guys doing?
We're awesome.
This beautiful summer.
We're awesome.
Is that another Rose Bowl hat?
No, this is an Augusta hat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I saw underneath the bill. I thought I saw roses.
No, that's azaleas.
No, those are azaleas
okay.
and pimento and cheese sandwiches.
Did you go to the Masters this year?
I did not. No, I did not. I have not been, which is a travesty and a sham and a mockery. It's a Travis sham mockery.
You would not believe it, Klatt. The first time you ever see it, it really is incredible. It defies explanation.
Can't wait.
Yeah, you got to
can't wait. How are y'all doing, man? What's going on?
Well, good, man. Texas trying to take over this conference. They had I don't know what did they.
Have you guys not been paying attention to the Big 12 for the last 20 years? Like this is literally just what they do.
Well, I don't know what the tombstone on the Southwest Conference.
What did they call the takeover?
Exactly.
That they
Ask
did
the Southwest Conference. Ask Nebraska. Ask anyone that's been around Texas for the last half century.
Do you think anything changes though? Like their expectation, Joel, is to come in, win the conference, and win a national championship in year one. Mm-hmm. They've got a beneficial schedule. I mean, you look at Oklahoma's schedule is night and day from Texas's.
Yep.
Do you believe that Texas is maybe the second, third best team in the SEC right now?
Second. Easily second. I don't know if there's a close third, actually. The top two teams are actually, I think, far superior than everybody else. That's not demeaning everybody else. I think that there's some really good teams and will all likelihood wind up in the top 10. I just happen to believe, at least at this point, that there are 4 really elite teams in college football going into the season. We'll see if a couple others can join them. But Texas is one of those, and obviously Georgia is one of those as well. Everybody else has some questions, and I think it's going to come down to schedule. OU could be a really good team, but their schedule is brutal. Missouri, I wouldn't quite say is as good as Oklahoma, but they've got a far easier schedule. So they might wind up being in a position that is in a much better position than an OU. I think Ole Miss is really good. Bama is interesting, obviously, and I'm a big believer in Kalen DeBoer. Even in the difficult situation of trying to take over for Nick Saban. So there's a lot of really good teams, but Texas and Georgia are the class of the conference. I think it's similar in the Big Ten, to be quite honest with you. I think there's 2 elite teams in the Big Ten, Oregon and Ohio State, and then a lot of really good teams that aren't quite to that level. So Texas is absolutely going to compete for the SEC championship. There's not a doubt in my mind, and they're going to compete for a national championship. We saw that last year, even though they weren't in the SEC. They rolled in and beat the SEC champion on their home field. And that's where this is like the immovable, what is it? The immovable force, immovable object type of deal. I can't really think of the term right now, but that is like SEC fans and Texas fans. And it's just like, it's like SEC fans, it's blowing their minds. Like, no one's going to roll in here and dominate us, even though they forget that Missouri went to back-to-back conference championship games their very first 2 years in the conference. I think you all forget that.
No, it's a bad division.
Texas A&M actually won in Tuscaloosa.
I don't disagree. It's like the Big Ten West. The SEC East at the time was terrible.
But Texas A&M beat national champion Alabama in Tuscaloosa their first year in 2012. So, little guy named Johnny Manziel in that game.
Yeah,
so
Johnny football.
I do appreciate you clarifying who the two teams that separate themselves are, because we've only done a show for 15 years, and for 17 years, Alabama was always one of those two teams. So I'm glad you mentioned the other one was Georgia, because in our heads, we were just assuming you were saying Texas and Alabama.
Just assuming.
Yeah.
No, listen, I understand. And I don't, that doesn't mean that I don't think Alabama isn't going to be a really good team. I firmly believe, at least at this point, and obviously things are going to change, but some combination of Ohio State and Georgia at 1 and 2 to begin the year, and then some combination of Oregon and Texas at 3 and 4. And behind that, I think that there can be a lot of different teams that wind up from kind of like 5 to 15. I think that that's kind of the separation going into the season that I see.
How many teams out of the SEC do you believe, outside of Georgia and Texas, could legitimately win a national championship this year? Or is that it? I mean, would you be shocked if Alabama,
I would be really
LSU,
surprised
or
if
Ole Miss,
one of those 4 teams doesn't win the national championship that I'm talking about. I think there's a lot of teams that are legitimate playoff teams, especially obviously in the expanded playoff. But I think it would have to take a pretty terrific break and run, and a lot of injury help, I think, for anybody else to win the national championship. Those 4 teams, man, when you look at their rosters, they have just totally separated themselves out, at least for this season. I'm not talking about into the future, but at least for this season, that's the way I believe. So, yes, it would surprise me if anybody else in the SEC were to win the national championship. It would surprise me if anybody else out of the Big Ten were to win the national championship. It would surprise me if anybody out of the ACC or the Big 12 was even, in the semifinals, really. To be quite candid.
Joel Klatt is with us at Joel Klatt on social media. You also see him on Fox, the Big Noon Kickoff. Alabama will be part of that with the Wisconsin game, the Big Noon Kick. They've got that Texas-Michigan game in week number 2, so a great schedule already announced for them. You are spending some of this offseason going around the country talking to college football coaches. They're great conversations. You do it every year, and they look really good. These coaches open up to you a lot. Give me the coach that surprised you the most. This conversation you had with a coach where you came away and you're like, okay, I'm a little surprised by this one.
Man, that's a really good one. Not much surprises me anymore because I know these guys pretty well before we sit down. Probably Matt Rule, which actually came out today.
Okay.
So that one came out today. I thought Nebraska was going to be better. And by the way, my biggest takeaways are always from what happens off camera, and I know that sucks to hear as a fan, and please go watch it. and I think that you'll enjoy these conversations, but it's just a sense I get when I ask them open-ended questions about their team when a camera's not rolling, and the body language that they give me, you can just sense a belief. And I think that was maybe not surprising for me, because I do believe that Nebraska could be a pretty good team this year. But man, like, Matt's done it twice at Temple and Baylor. He's seen it. He knows what it looks like. And he is really comfortable in his own skin and with this team specifically. And that, I think that opened my eyes probably more than anything else during these 8 conversations that I had. And I did sit down with Coach DeBoer, went down to Tuscaloosa and chatted with him. I thought that was a good conversation. That'll be coming out later in the year. So I'm bullish on a lot of these guys, but boy, something about the way that Matt Rule believes not only in himself, but this specific team. I think that if they can beat Colorado early, they'll be 8-1 after playing Ohio State. So it's one of those schedules when you look at it.
I'm interested when you're, and this is a professional question, but when you're talking to these guys off camera, do they also share with you things that they know you, almost like they let you come to a Thursday practice and let you see things for the game on Saturday? They know you're not going to share it and stuff. Do they give you a little bit of that too? That hey, Joel, don't share this, but here's a little insight that's going to help you this year in your job.
I think it's really vital for someone in my position to have a clear understanding of what is on the record and what is off the record. And that's vital to what I do, certainly. And I will not breach that trust of a coach. I can talk in generalities of things that happen. And a lot of times if it gets into something where I'm like, boy, I would like to use that, I'll ask specifically, do you care if I talked about that? And some will say no, some will say yes. But I just find it to be a vital part of my job to maintain the trust with these coaches, so that when I'm covering their games, when I'm texting with them during the season, I know that the information that I'm getting from them is accurate, and also my relationship with them is above reproach. I believe in that just as a man. I would do that for you guys. I would do that for anybody, for any one of my friends. I think that's just an integrous way to go about it. And I believe in it in terms of what I do in this business. There's zero chance that I would be able to do the job, hopefully at the level that I'm able to do it, without the coaches trusting me. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't fall short sometimes. And I'll be honest, there are times when I have to call a guy and say, hey, I said X, Y, and Z, and here's why. And when you hear it, I want you to hear it from me first, why I said this. And none of it is personal. And they really respond to that. In fact, some of the guys that I've been most critical of, I have the best relationship with because I've done that and gotten in front of, hey, this is what I've said, and I wanted you to hear it from me first, so that you don't hear it from, I don't know, even like you know who the main culprits are, like, and I'm not saying this disparagingly, but their wives will be like, guess what I saw on social media, and then they they get all upset about it. But yeah, it's a good question. It's a really good question. But there's always information, both during the fall and outside of the fall, that I keep in my back pocket because these guys desire for it not to be out there. By the way, I also tell them, like, I'm not going to be your mouthpiece. There are some, maybe this is not what you guys want to hear, but there are some people in our business who will regurgitate what I would call like propaganda. And they don't evaluate critically what's going on at any given place. And so a coach will just say like, oh, here's my 5 selling points. And then you just hear them verbatim from people, in our business. I don't believe in that either. And I tell the coaches that as well. Like I'm going to develop my own opinions, but at the same time, I will respect what is on and off the record.
Yeah, that's my nickname, by the way. Tuscaloosa Rose is my nickname. So,
hey, so Klatt, have you ever gotten the opposite reaction when you call a coach and, hey, look, it might sound critical that I said X, Y, and Z, and they're like, to hell with you? I mean, obviously you don't have to tell us names, but have you had that conversation where a coach is?
Oh, yeah, I've had contentious conversations. There's no doubt. I've had coaches call me during the middle of the week, and they have taken exception with something I said during a broadcast. I've had athletic directors call me and take an exception with something that I've said during a broadcast. Here's what I've tried to do, and this is going to be my 10th fall with Gus, doing our main game.
That's hard to believe.
So,
it is. Yeah.
I know. Gosh, it's gone really fast, but in a good way. I mean, gosh, man, I still love it, and I still feel like I'm new at, but as long as, at least in my estimation, you guys jump in on this. I think this is a fascinating conversation for fans to hear. As long as I have, whether it's, I would call it support, whether that's data or my own opinion or however I'm formulating that thought, as long as I can support my thought, one, and two, it's not personal, then sorry. Like, if you don't like it, that's not my problem. And I've actually said those words verbatim to coaches, one of them to his face, and he was incensed. And it's actually a coach that I still have a very good relationship to this day. And I think behind, as he walked away, I think that he almost respected my position. because he understood that. But as long, and I'm not saying I've done that all the time. In fact, I had to call, and I will name this guy because he and I we're great friends now, and he's not even in the business. When I was young in my career, I was just doing like FSN Southwest studio shows for the Big 12, like second tier cable package. This is like 2008, and Bob Stoops, you know, Oklahoma was getting killed by like Texas Tech or Baylor, one of the two, and they just kept throwing hitches, and I criticized Bob specifically. I just hadn't learned enough. I was too young in it. And I was like, I don't know what Bob Stoops is doing. A high school offense could, you know, come out there and what is he doing? What is it? And I was making it too personal. And I didn't describe why I was taking the position I was or what structure of defense I would have switched to or all these different things. Well, I was sitting on that desk with Pat Jones. Do you guys remember Pat Jones? He was Oklahoma State coach for quite some time. Yeah, way back in the day. And Pat pulled me aside after the show, and he was like, "Hey, you need to call Bob." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "You went personal, and you need to call Bob, and you need to apologize." And I learned a ton from that interaction. So I called Bob, and guys, for a guy that I competed against him, he was big game Bob. This was the most intimidated I've ever been in my profession. Getting into this as a young broadcaster. And I called him that next Tuesday and I said, "Hey, listen, man, this is what I said. And this is why I'm not proud of it. And I want to promise you it'll never happen again." And to his credit, he was like, "Yeah, man, you were right."
I was running a high school offense.
Yeah, but you know, I think conversations like that are important, and I think that's I don't think people realize what goes into this, and especially this day and age, because there's a lot of people with a microphone, and a lot of those people don't have access to the coaches, you know. And I think those of us that do, as you know, when you get access to a coach, like you have to handle that with great care and with great integrity, which at least I try to. I know you guys do too.
Joel Klatt is with us from Fox. Can you walk us through? This happened a couple of months ago, but you've been going all over the country talking to these coaches. You've been tied up, so I haven't been able to talk to you. Can you walk us through how this draft went for Fox? Like, how did that work? I know you were involved in it when you guys are picking games.
It sounded like a blast, and like you were centerpiece in this.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I think you're referring. I did an episode of my podcast with kind of our lead data analyst, VP of data at Fox. His name's Mike Mulvihill, and we discussed a little bit of the draft. It's one of the things that I actually enjoy the most in my job, and nobody gets to hear about it, or you know, I don't talk about it that much. But we go through. I prep for weeks just for the draft, for the television draft. And I come up with, you know, I'll play simulated games and talk about, you know, and try to plan out schedules and what team's record is going to be at what point in the season and what games look like they could be more valuable than others. And then we have a big in Fox, we have a big meeting and I state my case. And like, for instance, last year, I pounded the table to select early Colorado games and people looked at me cross-eyed. And they were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Guys, just trust me. Like the interest is going to be incredible, but you have to take the first two because no telling what happens from a record perspective after the first two." And so we take TCU. That's the reason we do the game. Is like I pounded the table for it in March, and we take the TCU game. With like one of the first selections in the Big 12 draft. So when we were doing that game, guys, like we fly there, I'm nervous for the quality of the game. Like not just to do the broadcast, but like, please, Lord, be a good number, you know, like, cause I kind of staked, I was the one like, we got to take it. This is the one, this is the most valuable. So when it did crazy ratings and when it was a great game, man, I rolled out of that stadium. I was more happy about that, the TV draft, than I was the actual game. Then we do Nebraska, similar thing. I went back to our group and I was like, "Hey, I think we need to take USC. They're going to lose to Oregon. Then we need to take USC. And then after that, who knows, it's going to kind of fall off the planet. And that's exactly what happened. So that's last year. So now this year, we're going through the whole process. And I think since he broached it, I can broach it. I'm pounding the table for Ohio State, Oregon. I'm like, I think that's going to be the best game maybe in the country, outside of Georgia, Texas. This is going to be a great game. You're going to have Ohio State having to go west. And they're like, well, we can't put it on at noon. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. We can flex, guys. Like, we've got to take that game. If we're going to do this, we got to take that game. And so I feel like I've made this impassioned and quality argument. And then the draft happens and we didn't get it. And we get the first 3 picks in the Big Ten. And I'm like, what happened? I'm like, what? Guys, don't you see what happened last year? Like, come on. You got to, take my advice. And then the business people were like, yeah, youngster, the election is the following Tuesday after Ohio State plays Penn State, and Pennsylvania and Ohio are swing states. So we're going to go cash checks. And I'm like,
are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my God.
We're going to go cash
so listen,
checks.
It's not official. None of that is official in terms of like specific games, because the way the draft works, you actually just put picks on weekends.
Right.
That's also Oregon, Michigan is that weekend. So we just control that weekend. I believe it's November 2nd, I want to say, because isn't the election like the 5th or something along those lines?
I think that's right.
Lines? Yeah. So it's such an interesting conversation arena to be in, and the television draft is one of my favorite things because of everything like that. You've got to think about ratings. You got to think about it. There's so much that goes into it, and it's certainly one of my favorite things.
That's actually pretty cool, though. I mean, to think about they're thinking that far ahead on Ohio State, Penn State, and that Ohio and Pennsylvania are major states. I mean, that's actually very, very smart.
So they're going to flood them with
course.
ads.
Oh, my
when you
gosh.
hear it,
yeah.
When you hear it, because I'm just arguing like Penn State, Ohio State, the game versus Ohio State, Oregon, the game, and it's like we would all agree. Well, no, Ohio State, Oregon is probably the better game, but with all the other factors, you see exactly why you would maybe want to own the other weekend. I hope that didn't get me in trouble, because I think, Mike, if you listen to the episode, he basically said the same thing. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Little T's going to share it, so we'll let you know. let us know if it gets you in trouble.
And we love the one with Sarah, too. I texted you. That was really, really good.
Man, she's the best, and she does not care about football, which is the best. It's the best, because she's very unimpressed with my job, and that's the way it should be.
Yep. All right, he is Joel Klatt. Season will be here before you know it. Klatt with us weekly in the season. We always love those segments. You guys do too. He is Joel Klatt on Twitter, so go follow him there.
I know I don't want to. You probably have a break.
No.
What do you guys think about Bama? They're one of my like, I don't know what to do with them this year.
Well,
I really don't. I think they're going to be really good, but I don't know what to do with them.
Here's a simple question. Kalen DeBoer played for a national championship last year with what is less of a roster than Alabama has right now. Would you agree with that? I mean, player for player, Alabama was a better roster.
Yeah, but I think that's a tricky way to argue the point, because holistically you're right. Yes. However, at the specific positions where Kalen needed to be great, they are far superior.
Like Alabama
does not have the wide receiver room, nor Michael Penix. So that's a difference.
Yeah, they've got one of the wide receivers because Jeremy Bedard's it doesn't go, but they don't have Roma Dunze.
No. And I'm not trying to disparage those areas. Those are really good players, but like those three guys on the outside and Penix specifically, the way that he played, in particular against Texas, they don't have that. And I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, my point is Kalen DeBoer has won everywhere he's been, and now he's going to have the most talent that he's ever had. He's going to have the most resources he's ever had. I think it works out. I thought it was
I do too.
Grand Slam hire back in the day. This year is going to be fascinating because you know this. If Alabama was to lose to Wisconsin, the sky's falling.
Guy, they can't. Oh gosh, I can't even imagine. what the fan base would do. What I love about Kalen is that he's got a little Tiger Woods in him. And I'm not trying to say he's like the greatest of all time, but do you remember when I watch everything Tiger Woods, and I brought this up with him, by the way. This is going to be part of me and his conversation. I brought this specifically up with him. I said the reason that I argued that Kalen was going to be such a great hire, and by the way, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like the day after Nick retired, I said Kalen DeBoer is going to be the coach at Alabama. Yeah. But this is why. Tiger Woods used to talk about, yes, I need to be technically proficient at my craft, but I also need to learn how to and be great at winning, which is why he was great at winning. We see a lot of these, prodigy golfers, and they go out there and they never win, but they look beautiful, swinging the golf. They're technically proficient. They're not competitively proficient. Kalen DeBoer is competitively proficient. This guy wins at an insanely high level everywhere that he's been. And for that reason, I'm bullish. I think that it will work. I just think it'll look a little bit different. I am happy for him that he is recruited at such a high level here and gotten on that swing, because that's the first way to start losing a fan base that is used to getting the top recruiting class in the country or second best recruiting class in the country. You start getting like 8th, 12th, 13th, everyone's going to be like, hold on a second. Then losses become even worse during the year if they pop up. So the fact that he is succeeding on the recruiting trail right now, I think is a big feather in his cap.
Yeah, I would say if Brailsford is completely bought back in, the offensive line could be the best in the country. I think the running
they're
backs
going to be great. I think Texas
and
Bama have the two best offensive lines in the country. Those two are going to be really good.
The two things I circled was wide receiver and then the DBs. A lot of young and then transfer pieces, putting them together. A lot of communication back there. Those are wide receiver and DBs.
It's not a great year to have a question mark at DB in that conference with Beck returning at Georgia, with Ewers returning at Texas. When you face those veteran quarterbacks in college football, that can be difficult with a younger secondary, which is one of the reasons I'm interested to see what this team is going to look like. But I believe Kalen's a really good coach. I really do.
Always fun, Klatt. We greatly appreciate the time, my friend. Good to see you again.
You got it. Have a good one, guys.
All right, buddy. You too. Joel Klatt with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Brought to you in part today by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. If you want the best fried chicken the South offers up, it's right here. Champy's Chicken, brined overnight. It is cooked to order, piping hot when it comes out. I'm a big two-breast guys, all the great sides that you get there. The Mississippi Delta recipe tamales that Tyler just called out and said that's what first thing he would order back on Friday. It's a great appetizer, great way to start. Perfect for tailgating, hand-cut chicken fingers, and more. Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, back in a moment right here on TNR.
Follow LT on Twitter at @thelancetaylor.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Back with you on the next round. Before we get to trash, Rockstar had a big weekend. His first show playing Jimmy Buffett with Black Jacket Symphony outside as the sun was setting up in the state of Tennessee. How did it go?
Well, it's just a lot of material. We did have a lot of people dressed up, and it was very humid and hot, and I had to go with a headband to perform because sweat gets so... I tend to sweat. I don't have any hair to catch the sweat.
Did Jimmy go with a headband at one point?
I don't know.
I think it was wristbands.
Probably.
I think he did.
But also, we try not to stand out from the others. So I don't want to be the guy that's just like, look at me. So I was just like, I don't know what I can do. I saw you if you put Vaseline over your eyebrows, and I did that for sound check, and it did not do anything. It runs it once it's in your eyes, it's over. So I was like, I'll just look like this. I'll take it. I'll take the hit. So and this is a random person. I looked on Facebook to see if you want to post any videos, and a random person posted this is about a minute of a song y'all probably never heard before.
Okay, hit it. This is Rockstar.
Don't know the reason. Skated all season. Nothing to show but this brand new tattoo. But it's a real beauty. A Mexican cutie. How they got here, I haven't a clue.
Sing along, everybody.
Wasted away again in Margaritaville. Searching for a mile, I'll shake her a song.
One man can't sit down.
Some people play the there's anyone to blame. Now I think it could be my fault.
This is end of times,
This
man.
guy.
I can't believe what we're seeing there.
guy's standing
all I
up.
can see is Alex Caruso with you with that headband.
That's a good look. And I felt beyond cool, but that thing was drenched.
Sounds really good, though.
We're going to get a lot better. There's just a lot going on. There's a lot of musicians involved.
No,
in
the
this.
band sounded pretty dialed in. I like the way the
Can't
band
wait
sounded.
for the Birmingham show coming up. When's the Birmingham show?
Next Friday, the July 12th.
July
Inside?
12th.
Yes, the BJCC.
Okay.
A week from Friday. Can't wait to see that. Right now it is time for Trash, brought to you by Mortgage Right. Give Rockstar a second to hit the big button. Let's do it, man.
Okay, so where's your house?
It's next to my neighbor's house.
Hey, where's your neighbor's house?
Ooh, you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Try me.
Next to my house.
Step out the car, please.
I'm going to jail?
Yep.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, home buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. They were veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information by going to their website, mortgageright.com/TNR, or call their Birmingham office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Brown, I've got offbeat holidays in July.
Jim loves these.
I love these things.
It's one of my favorite things we do. I don't know why I get harassed for believing that.
No, I just a passionate love affair.
Yes, I love this. First of every month.
Wednesday, my dermatologist would hate me this summer too, because I think I've been outside, every day this summer.
I've been outside a lot. I am heavy sunscreen on the face when I go outside.
This is stay out of the sun day because we work with somebody who had their nose
I've
reconstructed.
seen 2 noses reconstructed. You only have to see it once. I have seen it twice. Yeah, I'm heavy sunscreen on the nose every time I go out.
But why is this the National Day Stay Out of the Sun Day?
I basically be raining that day too.
Well, is that the 3rd? Because the 4th you're out in the sun.
You're going to be in the. There's no staying away from the sun on the 4th unless it rains.
And we all promised Monday if I tape all the fireworks I see on my phone, we all watch all of them.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah. Nothing is better on a phone on a phone than fireworks.
Well, I can tell you that is one of the things that if there's a lot that has changed about me from a kid to now. But my love of fireworks, and now I don't want to say I hate fireworks, but I am so don't care anything about seeing fireworks.
I don't hate them at all, but I am.
I do hate the noise.
I am to the point of that you can you rate a firework? Yeah. Now the one I saw, let's see, what year was that? That was 89, and we saw it over at Oak Mountain. You remember that show? They're all the same.
Yep.
Every fireworks show is a fireworks show.
I don't mind fireworks shows. I don't like neighborhood fireworks.
Oh, you're not going to avoid that. Do you like people bitching in the neighborhood apps about the dogs? Everybody's upset about their dog. I wish they'd quit shooting those fireworks.
But everybody's got a dog, so don't shoot fireworks in the neighborhood.
Well, but
go to a fireworks show. Or go to
they want to do it on their own.
In the woods.
Not everybody owns a pasture. You can't do it in the woods. You burn a tree down. Go in the woods.
Yeah,
is the worst
I am
advice.
nervous about this year because this is my first 4th with Chili and Bullet, and I don't know how they're going to react.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
Seems like they've been with you longer.
It's their independence, Jim.
Yep. Friday, July 5th, International Bikini Day.
Big fan.
So right after the 4th, you hit the bikinis?
I said this earlier. I think it was last summer. We have bikinis. One person didn't jump.
Yes. 1, 2, 3.
She's
tall.
She's late reaction. I think we have the swimwear game dialed in. We should never change. This is.
You think it's
it is probably the best that we've gotten.
As a red-blooded American male, we have it dialed in about as good as it ever can be.
Right.
Yeah, and I think too many people think the cheeky look is a thong, but it's really not.
No.
Less material on a bikini.
There is difference.
It's kind of an in-between.
There's sporty, cheeky thong.
Yeah.
Right.
Teabag thong, maybe.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Spice Girls.
I'm a big fan. Coming up this Saturday, July 6th, National Fried Chicken Day. I don't eat it enough.
Love fried
just talked
chicken.
about
Fried
Champy's
chicken's
chicken.
so
Probably
good.
do it again right after trash. It is so good.
Love fried chicken.
Tyler and Lunceford, get excited. Monday, July 8th is Video Games Day.
What's your favorite video game?
EA Sports College Football 25.
And he played it yet. How do you know?
I've dreamed about it, though.
Have you really?
Yeah. Can't wait.
Saturday.
I may start Jack State. I may start Kennesaw State. That may be my
do it. That big old stadium, Fifth Third Stadium they play in?
He's hyping up this game more than anybody I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a disaster, isn't it, Lance? You think his Xbox will even boot up that day?
Look at all this mix. Saturday, July 13th is National French Fry Day.
Okay, let's walk through these.
By the way, I don't consider a sweet potato a French fry.
Okay, well,
do you guys?
I like sweet potato fries.
July, we're only halway through the month. This is a great month of
It
these
is.
things.
All right,
we're going to close strong, too.
Let's
I don't
go
want
here.
to steal your line, but these are great holidays.
Waffle fries, in or out?
I love them.
Yeah, like Walk-On's does a really good waffle fry, and so does Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
But I've had bad one. I'm
not a fan.
Yeah, I'm
not a big
fan.
Curly Q fan. I'm with you on that one.
Okay, so how about this? Your association where it goes. Waffle
Arby's.
fries. Waffle fries, I always think Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
Curly fries, I think Arby's.
I think
100%.
Arby's, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're
never hot. They're never hot.
What about the? That's sweet potato, almost wedges. Those are thicker fries. I do not like a thicker fry like
Somebody's got those. I'm trying to remember who
I don't
it
know.
is.
Sweet potato fries are good after like the 5th one. You're like, I'm getting tired of these.
Those specific crinkle cuts right there are very Culver's. That reminds me very much of Culver's, who has excellent fries. I love theirs.
The crinkle is And Culver's does a good job with it, but there's
It's just
some
not your
people
favorite,
that,
it's fine,
that
yeah.
just the crinkle for whatever reason doesn't have as much flavor unless they do it really right.
Too much potato? You like shoestring then?
I love shoestring fries.
What about skin on?
Oh, shoestring fries are the best.
No,
fries
I
are
like
the
the
worst.
skin on.
Me
like
too. Thinner
like-
skin on fries are terrific.
Like you would get at the old school where if there were a group of guys, maybe 4 or 5 of them, started a hamburger
No,
place.
those were pretty good, but they were inconsistent with their fry. I'll tell you who's got the best fry, and it's a shoestring, is Freddy's.
Oh, yeah. God, those are so good.
I mean, those, yeah. And they used to have it at so we've got the Down Low Tavern next to Fleming's, but the Up Top Tavern, they always had shoestring fries.
Well, that place was legit. They had great chicken fingers and fries. I'll fight for that.
I don't like Freddy's fries. They're too thin.
Oh, I love them. July 14th, National Mac and Cheese Day.
Reminds me of us in the trailer park when I couldn't afford real potato chips. We'd get potato sticks. I hated those.
Oh, yeah. I love mac and cheese.
Oh, I do too.
That's in this month too?
Yeah.
Yes.
As a kid, I only really knew Kraft, and then Velveeta was like a new discovery, and then Stover's. When I would get you peel the foil off and put it in the oven.
Yep.
And it was really, really creamy.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I did not like mac and cheese, but my palate has changed, and
So you're in now?
I'm a growing fan of macaroni and
Our
cheese.
final offbeat holiday in July, Thursday, July 25th, is National Chili Dog Day.
Oh, I love
Well,
it.
I did not dislike any of these days.
Me either.
Well, stay out of the Sunday I didn't like. I want to get in the sun in the summer.
I love a chili dog too.
Yeah, all the food days are great.
This is kind of a crazy story. It is crazy. No other way to put it. A retiree and a board member of a neighborhood HOA is accused of defecating not once but twice on the side of a neighbor's house.
Oh, prove it.
And was denying the act. Look at this. Until confronted with video evidence that you see right here.
By the way, yard's a little sandy. She could have just used it as a litter box.
She is taking a shat on the guy's on his wall.
Indeed, Lance. Indeed.
Oh, and the former HOA person is the one doing the twos?
Court documents reveal how a homeowner in New Palestine went out to mow his lawn on May 29th, only to find a pile of human feces behind his air conditioning unit.
That's human. How do you tell?
How could you tell that?
Can't tell.
That's a St. Bernard or human. One of the
Now,
two.
this wasn't the first time the homeowner found human poop piled beside his home, and it wasn't the first time he caught the culprit on camera. Now, according to court documents, homeowner caught the unknown woman on video surveillance entering his lawn on May 2nd. That same day, he found she left a, quote, gift piled alongside his house. After the second, on May 29th, second time she did this, homeowner contacted police, handed over surveillance footage that captured the serial pooper in the act. Now, deputies ended up pegging the serial pooper as a retiree who not only lived in the area, but was a sitting board member on the neighborhood HOA.
Quite literally a sitting board member.
Documents reveal how, when confronted, 74-year-old woman denied defecating against the man's house until they shared the video evidence. And then she said she did it. You know what her reason was?
Had to go.
She had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, when you got to go.
Twice.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Indiana.
New Palestine, right? Yeah. Never any peace there, man. They're always fighting.
It's very split.
So set up.
Heinz reveals the holy grail
Little
of
strip
all
right there.
sauces. They're doing a mixture of all 14 of their sauces.
Heinz is?
Yeah.
It's the old, we can't say the word anymore, but we used to call them suicides back in the day.
Can't say it, but I'll say it.
Now, unfortunately, it's clear from the original post on Twitter and the website that every sauce will not be available for everyone. Heinz is only making 100 bottles of this, and it will only be offered to winners of an online lottery.
I wonder what it tastes like.
It's got burger sauce, garlic sauce, aioli sauce, smoky baconaise, sweet chili, chip sauce, saucy sauce, mariracha, mayo must, truffle mayonnaise, garlic and caramelized onion mayo, curry ketchup, pickle ketchup, smoky bacon ketchup.
I would say it's not good. That's going to be my guess on that one. It's not good.
I bet it's got a lot of sodium in it.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to pay on the water afterwards, aren't you?
Yeah. British millionaire, pro golfer Francis McGuirk. Have you ever heard of Francis?
I've never heard of the pro golfer Francis McWhorter.
Nearly avoided jail time, reportedly setting fire to his family home just so his wife couldn't have it following their breakup.
Wow, that is literally leaving scorched earth.
Man.
Scorched earth.
In a trial that recently ended, saw Francis McGuirk barely avoiding prison time. 50-year-old golf pro accused of setting fire to the $1.4 million house in Kent, just despite his life partner on June 25th. Last year, knowing that there was no one home, the father of three entered the house he owned with his soon-to-be ex-wife, Sarah, locked himself inside, and then snapped the keys inside of the locks before texting his partner to let her know He was about to set the place on fire. It sounded like he was going down with it, right?
I think so. That was the intention.
Would you hate to see this guy after a bad double bogey?
Changed my mind.
No, I mean, look at his
Holy
picture,
crap.
Brown. He's both erratic with his driver and his matches.
He's played out of the rough.
Millionaire golfer reportedly sent his wife messages from inside the house telling her that he was going to burn the house to the ground, assuring her that he would throw Dolly, the family dog, out of the window in a minute. So that's all good, he said.
Don't worry about the dog.
When firefighters called by worried neighbors pulled up to the burning house, they found Francis outside acting bizarrely. He refused treatment for his minor burns and appeared to want to go back inside the house to rescue the family dog. One of the first responders later testified
Forgot to throw the dog out.
that McGurk told him he had to set the house on fire because, quote, he didn't want that bitch to have everything.
Okay, sir.
But first off, he texted, don't worry, I'm going to throw the dog out.
Yeah.
I need to go back. Forgot to throw the dog out.
Did the dog make it?
Yes, I think
Okay,
so.
good.
Okay, good.
And finally, an OnlyFans content creator and foot fetish icon who earns more than $10,000 a month by posting seductive pictures has launched a limited edition wine made with grapes, as you guessed it, crushed by her feet.
How about that?
Just coming up with ideas like this.
Now, Emily Ray creates images and custom videos of her standing in baked beans or scrunching birthday cake in between her toes.
Hey, that photo shoot you did with the baked beans, that was. You guys
Now,
want to revisit that one?
30-year-old who was encouraged to join the adults-only platform by an ex was contacted about a collaborative wine project thanks to her, quote, expertise, and said she was absolutely obsessed with the idea. By embracing the ancient art of crushing grapes by foot, Emil has helped make Simp Wine, which has been crafted in the heart of East London in partnership with Renegade Urban Winery.
Okay, just as the foot connoisseur on the show, not good feet. I'd give those feet.
All right, break them down. What's wrong with them?
I think the only problem is the toenail. The big
toenail's
toe,
off.
It's too long.
It's too long. It's manly, and then
and then the pinky toe is like
it is tiny.
It's crunched into a shoe.
It's shy.
They're a little chunky. They're just not good feet. They're I would dare I say almost manly. I would give it.
Do you have a woman that's like the perfect foot?
I'd give it a 5.4.
She's got an ashy. Her left heel's a little ashy too.
It is. It is. Now that we're tearing her apart.
Not good feet.
What do you think? What do you think about the ankle tats?
So somebody pays for those.
Does that affect it? Ankle tats?
No.
Okay.
So somebody pays to see those feet online?
I guess, yeah.
$10,000 a month.
I'm going to assume she's done more on OnlyFans. As you noticed, her ex.
Yeah.
Very important word there. Ex is the one that got her on there.
Do you think her ex thought it was going to blow back on her? Like this was going to blow up in her face and then she's making $10,000 a month off of it now?
I am just going to guess her ex saw her do something on there.
Yeah, and he's like, you ought to do more of that.
Well, and then he could have gotten a little jealous after the fact and she saw the money and it was too late.
Well, I think people just assume that feet pictures are the easiest way to make money on the internet.
Well, you can somewhat stay anonymous.
You can be anonymous.
Yeah.
It looks like now she's not because we have a face picture too.
That's what I always say. It's an entry level OnlyFans site. First, then they want to see your ankles, bro.
Yeah, it's gateway.
They want to see your knees.
It is a gateway, yeah.
All right, that's Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage
Hey,
Right.
if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're looking for your final home, first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call that Birmingham office, 205-900-7200.
All right, one more segment to go here on the show that's being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken Highway. If you're hungry after seeing those feet, Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. You can go down there on Highway 119 and just eat up all the great Southern fried chicken, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. Over a decade on Highway 119. Sterling does it right. He does it the best. Your destination location for fried chicken in the South. It's Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Our friends at Longest Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longest offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longest offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longest sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longest has to offer you.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Final segment of the show today brought to you by our friends at UCA Urology Centers of Alabama. As you age a little bit, you want to stay on top of your health, guys. 20s to 30s, it's never too early to make sure you've got a baseline and staying on top of it with the professionals at Urology Centers of Alabama. Just go to that website, urologycentersalabama.com, urologycentersalabama.com, or call them up 205-930-0920, 930-0920. And our friends at urologycentersalabama.com, 16 locations, one near you, 36 great urologists. Make your appointment today. Everything from prostate health to kidney stones and everything in between. UCA Urology Centers of Alabama. All right. The Pac-12 officially ended at midnight over the weekend. So, favorite big Pac-12 memory all time? Give me one. Just the first thing that popped to your mind. It's USC football for me. It's the first thing that popped to mind, yeah.
Yeah, I would guess. I mean, when you said that, the first thing that popped to mind was the Bush Push, that game at Notre Dame.
For me, it was Reggie Bush. I forget which team he was playing.
Fresno State, the cut across.
He stops.
Yeah. He stops, yeah. It was that run.
That was a good game, too, right? Fresno, I mean,
yeah, they hung in there.
They hung in there.
That was the same night as Iron Bowl.
Yep.
That's right. The Bush Push, though, I don't know why that jumped to the top of my mind.
Yeah. Pac-12, I always think of the Rose Bowl when I think of the Pac-12, too, the actual Rose Bowl game. And, it's not that anymore, the Rose Bowl game. And, of course, it won't be that now.
Yeah, this looks
forward.
so weird, though. Like, if you go to, standings
Pac-12.
for all the conferences, looking, ESPN's got it updated. In the Pac-12, you've got 2 in there. But just looking at the Big Ten laid out and the SEC laid out is so strange.
I do remember one night, us all in Lance's basement. You might have been doing TV. I don't know if you were there, Jim, but I'm certain you were invited. We're all in Lance's basement watching one of those great Oregon teams get upset at Stanford. You remember that?
Yeah.
And Stanford kept bringing in 3 tight ends to them, didn't even have a name on their jersey, and they were just running it down Oregon's throat. And Oregon could not stop it. I mean, just running it right down their throat.
And see, that's a little bit of what I'm going to miss, right? Is Texas is coming in and Oklahoma's coming into the SEC, but I used to love hating the other. I know other conferences make fun of us, with the SEC chant, but I used to love us against them mentality when it was the SEC versus the Big Ten or the Big 12 or the Pac-12 or the ACC or the independents. And now we're all, almost in the same league anymore. Who the heck we're gonna hate? Just each other, I guess.
I mean, there's always going to be SEC Big Ten hate, but aside from that, it doesn't feel like there's a ton. I mean, nobody's going to hate the ACC.
My biggest fear is, are we going to get late night games lightweight? Pac-12 after dark was awesome. I know it's going to be Big 12. Is it going to have that feel?
Yeah, the problem is it's also going to be ACC. You're going to get Stanford and Cal late night games, and those just do not interest me.
Syracuse and Cal may not stay up late for that one. Go ahead.
I wonder how many Big Ten late night games you get with Washington and Oregon, though.
I would imagine some, though.
You would have to think. Yeah. Now, they're probably going to shy away.
FS1 drinks good.
Yeah, it does. I'll watch it. Trust me. They're going to shy away probably from the Eastern Time Zone teams doing that.
Well, I mean, you got UCLA and USC. I mean, you've got four where you could – Big Ten could go all day.
Yeah, absolutely good.
Brown, they're not going to shy away from USC playing a 9 a.m. body clock game. So they're not shy away from making a Rutgers
you
play.
Heard Klatt talking about, the executives at Fox were worried about Oregon and Ohio State putting it on
a big noon kick.
Yeah, but that was because the game was in Oregon, and they weren't going to play it at 9 a.m. But when Oregon's playing at Rutgers, they're not going to worry about making them play at 11 a.m.
No. I think more of the home games.
But you're right. If the Big Ten wanted to, they could go everything from big noon kick to a 9 p.m. kick.
That's right. Set Your Lineup podcast. LeGarrette Blunt's punch. That was
Boise.
Oregon and Boise State.
Yep, upset.
Thursday night.
I don't know if it was an upset. Boise won, though, right?
Boise did.
Yeah, Al from Dadeville, Stanford USC upset. That was one of the biggest that I can remember in college football.
Was that even televised?
The LeGarrette Blunt, that was a home and home where Boise won both of those games.
I think Stanford USC was on Versus. Am I right about that? Do you remember Versus?
I think so, yeah.
I think I remember watching that on Versus. Do you remember that network? I don't even know what it became.
I think it became
Vice.
Didn't it become the Altitude?
Maybe.
Did it become Altitude?
I don't know, but I remember Versus having some big some Pac-12
Never
games.
thought they were going to lose that game until the game was actually over.
Caleb says Oregon coming out in the Rose Bowl with the revolutionary chrome helmets. First time to wear the chrome. Forrester from the back row says Beast Mode stealing the golf cart when Cal was relevant.
That was so good.
Yeah.
He was such a wild player.
I just remember when, being a kid from the trailer park, the Coliseum, or when UCLA back then were playing at the Coliseum too, it just looked like the land of paradise. The girls seemed to. I've learned now that Southern girls are the best. Southern girls are the best looking girls on the planet. But back then, it was like a far, far fairyland, man. Or, dreamland. Out in California.
Fairyland's a different place. It's
cool.
It's different.
They got it out there.
Yeah, I think also located in California.
I just love the Pac-12 games. All right, that's the show today. We're back with you, of course, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. A brand new live version of the Pennant Grace coming up at 12:15 with EG and Ush sliding in here to talk Braves baseball. 2 of 3 over the weekend. The Braves over the Pirates. They're about to crawl into a series with San Francisco before the All-Star break. Don't forget Roll Tide Pods, War Damn Pods that disrupt the media. And remember to like and subscribe. Thumbs up everything. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.